Youngest son of this famous swordsman, was chosen by the family sword when he was born, but when he grew up, he was a loser with no swordsmanship. He was born into a famous swordsman family, Lenkandel, a sword family that ruled half of the world, and he became a shame to the family. Not only was he looked down upon by his peers, but his two older brothers also humiliated him in various ways. I thought I could gain family recognition through hard work, but he was kicked out of the family door. He started wandering around until he met his teacher. Only then did I realize that I also had a talent. Talent in magic is taboo in the family. 3 years later, he strengthened his magic, according to an ancient magic book. Magic skills connect the naturally existing magic with your own magic power. Unexpectedly, a change occurred, and he was surrounded by black mist. A voice sounded from behind, and he turned to look. I am Southlet, the master of all shadows. As the god of shadows, I propose a contract to you, but if I sign the contract, not only can I use the shadow weapon, but I can also invalidate all curses. I saw the curse mark imposed on his chest emerged. Contractor, it seems that you have offended someone when you were very young. Because of this little curse, you can't use your talents. This curse is called Bitch's Maze, and it suppresses the talent of swordsmanship. This is a fatal curse for your family, so I don't know if I'm attracted to you. From now on, no curse will harm you. Now all that's left is to become a peerless magic swordsman. I will watch it with pleasure. Watching the black fog gradually dissipate, he seemed to understand it all. I saw him take out the sword that he had hidden for many years, walked towards the outside of the house. Hearing the crisp sound of the sword being drawn out, no one could stop his talent. Every time the sword is swung, a new realm appears. This feeling is as if the sword has no weight, as if the sword and man are one. Plus magic, the most in family history. The bad idiots cease to exist on this day. Eager to show the results of their efforts, he headed towards the Cavaliers. Unexpectedly, he overestimated his own strength and was pinned under a stone and dying. He didn't even have time to use Sothlet's power. He called the names of his teacher and Sutherade. Although he was unwilling, he still lost consciousness and slowly closed his eyes. Opening my eyes again, I found myself on a grassy field. In front of him are the people of the family, as well as the sword pool and the sword of the family head. I returned to the day of the selection ceremony. He signed a contract with God and became not only unparalleled in swordsmanship, but also awakened. Awakening the power of magic, he once again chose the most powerful sword after rebirth. All the clan members were shocked by the young master in front of them, and then he was sent to Stormwind City by his father. 6 years passed quickly. Jean is looking for a book to read in the library. After rebirth, he is now 7 years old. According to the family's rules, he must spend time here before he is 10 years old. Can't go anywhere else. 3 years later, suddenly a woman's shouting came from outside. Go out and take a look. He saw his maid falling to the ground. Master, there is a dead bird in your room. Looking at the dead bird in front of me, he knew that it must be 2 of his people who did such a thing in Stormwind City. Brother, yes. His brother appeared at this time. I also felt sorry, because it was the maid who saw it first. The 2 shouted, do you like the gift that my brothers have prepared for you? You won't like it and cry. In my last life, my brothers became notorious as ruthless murderers after they became chess players. A child who was only 9 years old actually tortured and killed an unrelated bird in order to torture me. Listening to the brothers behind him who are still provoking, when he breathed out, his brothers raised their fists to hit him. I saw Jean holding the incoming fist with one hand, and the black energy emerging from his body startled them. You guys are too noisy. Let's talk one by one. Knock this brother away with an uppercut. The other one looked at Jean in horror. What kind of move are you doing? As soon as he finished speaking, he was punched in the head by Jean. I've been putting up with you, but I can't anymore. With that said, he also knocked him unconscious. My foolish brothers. The less I see of things like this, the better. At this time, the guardian knight Khan heard the noise and rushed over. Jean took back his courage, said to Khan. 2 people suddenly quarreled and knocked each other down. Do you understand? Are all Lenkander's imps so murderous? I understand, young master. I will send these 2 young masters to the doctor right away. Jean said, no need, brothers. We have places we must go. Khan, come with me. It's raining heavily outside. Jean made a grave for the dead bird. He carefully arranged the grave mound and stood up. His brothers were currently unconscious in the rain. Khan asked, young master, are you going to just leave it alone? The rain is getting heavier and heavier. We have to let our brothers know what we have done. Khan said he would. Watching the young master leave, Khan thought to himself that the aura he saw just now was definitely not righteous. Could it be magic? If so, this incident was more than just a fight between brothers, so he decided to report the matter to his family. Jean looked at Khan, who had been raped by the window, thinking that he had indeed chosen to report to his father. Although he is our guardian knight, but they are also the ones spying on us. Do you suspect that I used magic, and that's why I'm so anxious? This shadow weapon is proof of the contract signed between Thordre and me. Thanks to this power, I know that the contract I signed with Soldre is still valid in this life. I used the power of God to teach my brother a lesson. My father, who was pretending to be a god, thought I had used the forbidden magic power of my family and led 1,000,000 troops straight to Stormwind City. Not long ago, Khan reported the whole story to the head of the family, only to see a burly body carrying him on his back. Karnjan actually taught the Tonai brothers a lesson. Then he ordered Khan to gather his troops and go to Stormwind City to see his youngest son Gen. Soon, a group of people got ready and headed towards Stormwind City. Brother Dips, father asked us to go back. Do you know why? I saw a girl lazily asking the handsome silver-haired boy next to her. It should be to meet his youngest son, right? The little guy who chose the sword of the family master in the selection ceremony. But even so, there is no need for the father to meet him in person, right? I don't understand what my father is thinking. Luna in front turned to remind them not to talk about their father behind his back. Is this Jean that powerful? Jen is in Stormwind City. After sorting out his clothes, he learned that his father was coming. He knew that Khan had already told his father about the matter. After the father found out, he came to confirm what kind of power his youngest son used, and whether he could become the family's future assistant. After arriving in Stormwind City, the first thing the head of the family did was to summon Brother Torna. He asked the two brothers kneeling in front of him. I had a fight with my younger brother. What went wrong? The two brothers looked at each other and said that they were not wrong. It was Jean who beat us, and he also used an unknown force, like a form of magic. After hearing this, my father frowned slightly. Father, the use of magic is prohibited in our family. Two brothers. They were still biting Mary and Dips next to Jean. Only then did they understand that if Jean used magic, we need to track him down immediately before he covers it up. Shut up. I saw the head of the family scolding the two brothers in front of him and admonishing his two sons. You can't survive in Luncade this way. Looking at the panic on their faces, please step back and let Jean come see me. My father, Shilon Runkled, was more powerful and ruthless than any man I have ever known. He is the creation paladin. He is the strongest person today, and has reached the level of demigod. He used to be no different from ordinary people, but since he reached the demigod realm, human emotions are lost. He only sees the prosperity of his family. I had no talent for swordsmanship in my previous life, so I was like a transparent person in front of him. But it's different now. I won't let anyone ignore me in this life. Sean slowly opened the hall door and walked in. See the head of the family. Shillong stared at the youngest son in front of him and asked him why he didn't call him father. But the head of the family, he raised his head and said calmly, today, including my brothers, sisters, and guardian knights, there are 100 family members here. Therefore, I think you are here as the head of the family, so I call you the head of the family. Luna was shocked when she heard it. Such words came from the mouth of a child. I am very satisfied with this answer, but I came to Stormwind City today for personal reasons. You should call me father. He showed the shadow weapon to his father, and to his surprise, he recognized that the power came from Sothlit, the god of shadows. The demigod-level patriarch in front of him looked at his youngest son in disbelief. He chose the patriarch's sword at a very young age. He also has a shadow weapon. Is he destined to be the next head of the family? He said to his youngest son, this is the power of Sothlit, the god of shadows. Looking at his youngest son with a confused look on his face, he explained, Suthlet once signed a contract with the first head of Renkit's family. After his death, Lord Suthlet never appeared again, but he seemed, I want to return to our family through you. Father, is the god named Soseret stronger than you? Do you see your father turning his back to duel with God? I haven't wrestled with God yet, so I don't know the answer. He thought to himself that this was indeed the answer of the strongest man today. And his father touched his head and said, this innocent question aroused great interest in him. Come to see you today. You really came to the right place. So how do you plan to use hidden energy? I saw him speaking righteously to his father. I plan to fight for the rise of the family. However, the father laughed out loud. You used your strength to knock down your brothers and then abandoned them in the storm. But he said he would do it. Is it used by the family? Seeing that he couldn't hide it from his father, he told him that he wanted to use it for himself. After my father heard this, she looked at him deeply and was satisfied with his answer. He walks over, and I'll wait and see. As the door closes, he immediately relaxed, thinking that he had passed the test, and he could use weapons openly in the future, and he also made his father have expectations for me. It's really very different from the previous life. In the evening, it rained heavily again in Stormwind City. Mary gave Jean a heavy box. After giving it to the maid, tell Jean that this is a special gift just for him. I saw him smiling evilly and saying, after you cook it, eat it up. Then rush. To become stronger, Jean was very confused. Why did Sister Mary give him something? After going back and opening it, I saw that the maid covered her mouth because of the majestic blood. What was inside turned out to be the heart of a phoenix. Sister Mary is really crazy. She actually gave him to a 7-year-old child. As a 6-star knight, he is obsessed with fighting. Giving me this precious thing must be to make me stronger quickly and become his opponent. At his age, eating the heart of a phoenix, in addition to producing fire resistance, it can also promote growth, and is also a necessary condition for 6-star magicians to safely summon the phoenix. Soon the maid will be cooking. The good phoenix heart was stewed into soup and brought up, and he gently placed it on the table. Miss Mary really gave a precious gift. Master, please eat it while it's hot. Okay, but before eating, brothers, do you have anything to tell me? This man soaked in medicinal wine is actually a black dragon that has been sleeping for thousands of years. A sudden burst of anger can put life within 300 meters at risk, and all the strong men in the world will be frightened by it. At this time, Jean's hairspray brothers were digging the tunnel hard, just to have a sip of freshly mixed soup. After working for a long time, they arrived at the restaurant out of breath, and Jean generously gave each of them a large spoonful. He came to the brothers. After digging the tunnel, looking at this wall, I thought that my brothers were not lazy in order to drink soup. He gathered his magic elements and pushed forward. The wall collapsed, and what came into view was a simple door. This is the secret library of the Luncade family. Looking at this door, he was filled with emotions. He couldn't come here in his last life, and you need to recite a special spell to enter. Jean looked pious and sang an ancient song. As the chanting ended, the dusty door slowly opened and he walked in. There are many banned books collected here. These books are all from Lunkai. When the family went deeper, he saw a person soaking in a glass container. When I walked over and took a closer look, I saw that there were scales on the body. Could it be that it was not human? He thought that it should be the family's guardian, the Black Dragon Urukai. Then he saluted respectfully. I heard that the Black Dragon Urukai fell into a deep sleep after being defeated by the first-generation head of the family. I didn't expect that the legend was true. I don't have time to think about this anymore. I have to find a book quickly. After he left, the hand in the glass jar seemed to move. Looking at the secret books of each family, he didn't know which one to read first, so he picked up a book called The Self-Cultivation of Sword Fanatics of the Kun Family. I'm ready to start reading, and I'm holding a pen to take notes, so I can take notes when I go out. Read on. Suddenly, he seemed to hear something. Are there other people here? He stuck his head out and looked around. Anyone who could come to the library should not be in Stormwind City. I saw the door crack open. A fierce man with an unclear face caught his eye and asked him who he was. It turned out to be Urukai. How could he wake up? He nervously said to Urukai, the son of the Luncade family, see the family guardian. Listening to what he said, the man in front of him was shaking all over. He seemed angry and kept shouting and repeating the word guardian. He roared at John. Do I know you? I am your guardian. Damn the Luncade family. You actually educate your children like this. If you weren't a child, I would have eaten you long ago. He woke up when he smelled something good. Why is there only one little fart still here? He came closer and smelled it. John, why do you smell of shadow energy? He also affirmed that although he had been sleeping for 1,000 years, but I am very sensitive to this smell, and only contractors like you, the first-generation head of the family, can have such a strong flavor of shadow energy. Could it be that the dragon that has been sleeping for thousands of years in front of him is because the shadow energy in his body has awakened? I saw Urukai looking around for the source of the smell. John is ready to test it, Lord Urukai. Is this what you are talking about? He made a contract with the god of shadows. He was also recognized by his father, who could kill gods. As a swordsman genius, he also mastered the power of magic, and eventually became the only magic swordsman in the world. Even after the black dragon Urukai saw the shadow energy on his body, he knelt down and said, I will fight side by side with him in the future. He was about to help the black dragon up, but he didn't expect the black dragon to directly transform into a dragon form. I am the black dragon Urukai, Sutharet's agent, his friend, and the last of the shadow descendants. I will fight alongside you. He transformed into the form of a dragon and waited for the boy in front of him to sign a contract with him. He no longer hesitated, stretched out his hand and said his name, Jean. Luncade, the youngest of the 13 children in the family, successfully signed a contract with the black dragon. According to legend, the black dragon fell into a deep sleep after a battle with the first-generation head of the family, but judging from what Urukai said, they are not enemies. But to protect dragons and friends, contractors of gods are usually accompanied by a guardian dragon. Now Urukai is awake, so he also has a guardian dragon, right? He came to the library today and brought a durian card to Urukai. When copying books, Heilong praised him for knowing so much at such a young age, which was already far beyond his peers. But his current level has only reached Linkold's average level. He asked Heilong if it was the first-generation family. Lord, how much of this book can he understand at his age? Black Dragon told him, the first-generation head of the family might not even be able to read a line at that time. But theory is not equal to practice, although you have talent, but not as good as him. Looking at the somewhat frustrated little guy, he told Jean that Southlet's aliases were unlimited. In other words, his power is unlimited. As long as you train hard, you might be able to surpass him. After that, he also taught him how to release his shadow energy. That is the use of shadow energy. Jean asked him what he needed to do, and the Black Dragon told him not to worry, but to learn to release magic first. If you want to learn it, you must first master the two basics of magic power release and magic power movement. It doesn't take more than 2 or 3 years. 2 or 3 years is too long. I have practiced it countless times in my previous life, and moving magic is even more difficult. Under the arrogant appearance of the Black Dragon Urukai, magic elements condensed in Jean's hands. Look, have I learned this? How is this possible? Watching Jean transfer the Rasengan to another hand, the Black Dragon Ulukaikwajin is truly a genius. The magic power in Jean's palm dissipated. Now can you teach me how to release the shadow energy? Shadow chi is derived from shadows, and all the shadows in this world are born from Southlet's thoughts. You are Southlet's only contractor. That means you can become the master of all shadows. Did you see that? Small, old ghost, this is the release of hidden energy. This young man is not only protected by the Shadow Black Dragon, but he can also summon the Phoenix of the Phoenix tribe to serve him. Even Luna, the strongest of his father's 13 children, took the initiative to celebrate his 9th birthday. He is the first pioneer 9-star knight of the Luncade family. He is also the eldest among 13 brothers and sisters. Jean, who was celebrating his birthday, heard the guardian knight say to him, "Luna is here." Although they were family members in the last life, they were as estranged as strangers. When he suddenly visited today, Jean thought something had happened to the family. He looked at Luna in front of him and shouted, "Sister Luna, you succeeded. Sister Luna, if you had sent someone to inform you in advance, I'll dress more appropriately to see you. You are really good at talking stupid things. Do you need to send someone to notify me in advance when I come to see my brother? Hey, you look uncomfortable. Are you sick?" "Sister, I'm just a little nervous because it's my first time to be in such close contact with you. I felt a little nervous. There is no other way. Containment, plundering, and trampling between brothers and sisters are the family tradition of the Lunshade family." At this time, Luna felt a little sad that her brother in front of her thought he was here to contain him. She leaned down and looked at Jean. "Jean, I want to talk to you alone. Can we let the wet nurse and the guardian knight retreat first?" Jean agreed, but he was wondering what this sister was going to do. "My youngest brother, I came to you suddenly because I have something to say to you." "Say what?" "When your father met you before, your performance attracted the attention of all your brothers and sisters. When you leave Stormwind at the age of 10, they will keep you in check. I don't want you to get caught up in a family feud, lose your own happiness." "Sister Luna, was it because of this that you gave up your position as the head of the family? And she never told me this in my previous life. It's because at that time, my brothers and sisters didn't regard me as a competitor." "Sister Luna, thank you for your concern. I have no intention of quitting this fight. You have to understand that my sister sincerely cares for you. I'm not here to pretend to persuade. Sister, I understand, but I have already been assassinated once." Luna was surprised to hear this, but then murderous intent swept through the room. "Who wants to kill my brother in Stormwind City?" Jean said that he didn't know who it was, but wasn't it good now? He also expressed his gratitude to Luna. "It turns out that not everyone in this family hates me." After hearing this, Luna hugged him. "My poor brother, it makes me sad that you got involved." At this moment, Jean, whose head was resting on Luna's shoulder, could not think of it. "The sister who usually kills everyone is so soft at heart. Don't be too sad. Yes, today is a happy day, not to mention the annoying ones. Happy 9th birthday to you. I also brought you a gift. You turn it over. I'll put it on for you. You only have one chance to use it. When you encounter trouble and can't solve it, just break the gems on the pendant. No matter where you are then, I will be there. I will come to you immediately. You should definitely wear it with you. Happy birthday, Jean." At this time the maid brought the cake, and Luna even fed it to him personally. The maid thought to herself that she finally had a sister who felt sorry for the young master. "Okay, brother and sister still have tasks to do. Just leave first." "Okay, sister, be careful on the road." In this life, not only did Sister Mary give him the heart of the phoenix, but he even received the care of Sister Luna, and even raised a dragon in Stormwind City, something he never dreamed of in his previous life. Before he knew it, he was already 10 years old. He was training with Khan, and he seemed to be flawless in every move. Khan blocks. The young master waved his fist and sighed inwardly. The talent and growth of the young master in front of him surprised him. The boy's eyes looked like those of a superior. After the training, Khan bowed deeply to Jean. Tell him it was his honor to coach him during this time. After eating the heart of a phoenix, fire is like warm water to him. He will leave Stormwind City tomorrow and return to his master's house. The wet nurse was packing his things, and he ran to the library to look for Urakai. Tell him that he will leave tomorrow. Black Dragon said that he would follow him carefully, so as not to be discovered by others. And he also left his phantom in the glass jar in the library, discovered by others. After saying that, Jean took out the red wine and strawberry cake he brought for Ulakai. The greedy Ulakai seems to have turned into a foodie dragon. Ulakai even wanted to meet his wet nurse. Really? To control a dragon, you must first control its stomach. Soon the next day, 2 guardian knights came from Stormwind City to pick up Jean. The wet nurse tidied his clothes to warn him that the family would be busy when he arrived, and he wouldn't be able to bake whatever he wanted. And he will try his best to assist the young master. Finally today, Gen left Stormwind City. It snowed more and more along the way. When they were about to go to the village to rest, the carriage almost overturned. Just listen outside the window. The guardian knight shouted that there was an enemy attack. He also asked the young master to stay in the carriage and not get off. "Don't worry, young master, nothing will happen." After saying that, the wet nurse hugged Jean and, "Keep him in your arms." He looked out the window and saw about 20 enemies, including magicians, warriors, and swordsmen. The 2 guardian knights just now started fighting them. Speaking of this, Jean suddenly thought of something in his arms. Anxiously, he asked the wet nurse to follow him and get out of the car quickly, because the guardian knight of the Lenkold family would never leave the children of the Lenkold family alone under any circumstances. In other words, they have to keep one person by my side. It can be concluded from this. Those 2 guardian knights, either a traitor or a fake. Maybe there is some device hidden in the carriage, so we have to get out of the carriage. After hearing the young master's analysis, the wet nurse gritted her teeth. He had made an oversight. I saw 2 points of force appearing on his hand. "Master, from now on, I, Luncade's servant, will protect you. I may be a little rude. Please forgive me, master." The wet nurse smashed the carriage into pieces with a gorgeous maneuver. "Master, we are out." He usually looks like a weak wet nurse, but actually, she is a fighting nanny. When the young master encounters a crisis, he transforms into Wolverine. With his claws, he can even scratch the sky. This Karami even called his young master little bastard. He dragged me for 300 miles. Just after the wet nurse escaped with Jean asked the wet nurse to take him back to confirm, because those attackers may be friendly forces. Looking at the confused wet nurse, if the attacker's target is me, it would be a good time for them now that we were off the carriage. But now it's very peaceful around us. That's why. The wet nurse was preparing to go back with Jean, but she saw a group of people in the distance, and the captain at the head shouted to look for Jean. And commanding the battle, as Jean expected, the people who came were the magic family Yuta and the mercenary group Black King Group. They saw Jean and Gilly. I saw the captain giving an order to protect John Rencade. After saying that, he stood in front of them. Entrusted by the Luncade family, he came to rescue the young master. The fake guardian knight is preparing to charge forward. Rumu was thinking at this time, if these people in front of him were the Knights of the Seven Stars, there is no way these people are going to put them in a tough fight. He shouted at the counterfeiters in front of him. "Who the hell are you? Tell us your purpose and the person behind it." The imposter smiled disdainfully. "You think I will answer one? Is it a nanny problem?" Seeing such an arrogant person, he turned around and asked the young master how to deal with it. "Then kill one person first. Cut off another arm and bring it to me." "Master, I obey." I saw the wet nurse rushing forward quickly, using only one move. One person fell out in seconds. Before his accomplice could react, a golden light flashed and his arm was gone. Just about to prepare for a vigorous counterattack, but he was knocked down by the fighting spirit of the wet nurse in front of him. He pulled his hair and said, "Your master underestimates his opponent," throwing him in front of the young master like a pig or a dog. "If you want to be the wet nurse of the Luncade family, you must be at least a 7-star warrior." Jean looked at the captured people. If he wanted to assassinate the children of the Luncade family, he should at least send a few 8-star knights. However, this man was still shouting arrogantly, "The era of the Luncade family is over." Jean heard this and told him, "This is also what I hope for. What I want is not the era of the Luncade family, but my era." After hearing his heroic words, the counterfighter who knew he was about to die, he actually lost his mind and shouted, "For the Gimple family." Jean was also surprised when he heard this name. The Gimple family is a magical mage who dominates the other half of the world. Unlike the Luncade family, which pursues the pinnacle of swordsmanship, they pursue the pinnacle of magic. Thousands of years ago, after the death of the first-generation head of the family, they forced Long Kai's family to sign a humiliating covenant prohibiting the use of magic, and also sealed the magical abilities of everyone in the family. He sneered at the people on the ground. "You have done such a bold thing. What do you think you are? It turns out that you are followers of the Jipur family. Just try to leave him here to fend for himself. There is no need to find out who is behind it." Looking at the followers seeking death in front of me, Jean thought to himself, although the two families are sworn enemies, and Jipur is often committed to launching terrorist attacks, what happened today is not the style of the Jipur family. It should be planned by these followers without permission. Strange thing is, no matter how perfect the disguise is, how can it be hidden from the eyes of the 7-star warriors? Is this guy also involved? The ancient family that each controls half of the world. Luncade who can kill for thousands of years at a glance, and Jipur whose magic can destroy the world. They actually want to kill me, a swordsman genius. This time, thanks to the help of the Black King Group and the magic family Yuta family, he said that he will report your merits when you get to our house, and the reward will not disappoint you. Please help me escort me to the pass. The captain said he would try his best. He looked at the young master in front of him with some disbelief. He had just left the city and was only 10 years old. He is so calm when facing troubles, and he has such aura, not of this age at all. He thought of what the young master said just now. "What I want is the era of John Lenkeld. This is not a kid's joke." So he gave an order to his men. "You need to be very alert for the next journey. Don't let your guard down, and do your best to escort the young master into the customs." On the way, Jean said to the wet nurse, "There's no need to blame yourself for those 2 fake knights. Even Khan of the 9-star knight didn't notice it, and you, the 7-star warrior, couldn't even tell." Hearing this, Gili said, "I'm sorry," and turned around to look at the wet nurse. In this way, he thought of his previous life. The wet nurses of Luncade and the children they were responsible for shared good fortune in previous lives. She is also my wet nurse. Just because I am too mediocre, therefore, no one in the family took her seriously, and she was bullied wantonly by others. Even the day I was kicked out of the family, she was also kicked out, and she bowed to him, blaming herself, saying that she had not taken good care of him. Thinking about all the things in the past life, Gili is so kind. He didn't want to say harsh words, but he must become strong in this life. Just thought of this, Gili actually stepped forward and said that he must be punished for this matter. Jean was very angry and shouted not to blame himself. This was an order. "Although you are my wet nurse, now you are my only guardian knight. If you are disturbed by such a thing, it will directly affect the next escort mission." The wet nurse promised to correct it. I didn't expect the young master to take so much trouble. These words are for my own good. I have to cheer up, but I can't drag the young master down. The young master found that Gili had cheered up again. I feel relieved. Soon they arrived at the hotel. Jean thought to himself, these two fake knights managed to avoid being seen through. Maybe it's because this guy's transformation technique is Bubar's transformation, which is unique to dragons. But even dragons can't achieve perfect transformation. But he is an existence that has achieved perfect transformation. He uses his powers to commit various crimes and throw time into chaos. Thinking if this person gets involved, he will have a headache in the future. However, when Jean was 20 years old, this person was treated specially by Biment. He deliberately recruited this person under his command, which might be of some help to him. But how can you stay with someone who wants to harm you? He decided that if something happened to him, he would determine how he was different from his previous life. Just when Dilly was about to report to John that he was going out to guard, he saw that the young master had fallen asleep. He smiled and went out. Soon it was early morning, and a cat barked outside the window, waking up Jean, who was sleeping soundly. The supreme shadow black dragon of the dragon clan who fights majestically in heaven and earth, he actually transformed into a cute little black cat and sneaked into a human room. After being laughed at by Jean, he turned into a human form and was about to get angry, but accidentally tripped and fell. The nanny who heard the noise quickly ran to see what happened to the young master. What came into view was a strange man beside the young master. I don't know what the picture is. He was immediately on alert and entered combat mode. He stepped forward and held the black dragon down and asked him who he was. What's the purpose of sneaking into the young master's side? Jean hurriedly said, wait a minute, Dilly, one of our own. Hearing this name, Ulakan didn't expect it to be him, so he quickly stood up and said to Dilly, so it's you, my strawberry pie. When he heard the words strawberry pie, the nanny looked stunned, and Jean saw the black dragon. He looked helpless and covered his face, looking away. I saw the black dragon Urukai saying to the nanny that he has been waiting for this day for a long time and finally meets you. Jean introduced them to each other. He is the guardian of House Lunkide. Black Dragon Wulakai was about to introduce Dilly Wulakai and said that no introduction was needed. I know he is my precious strawberry pie. Dilly bowed to him. I didn't know you were the guardian, so please forgive me for my offense just now. Urukai, however, told him not to worry, and he was happy to forgive his strawberry pie. Dilly interrupted him. Lord Urukai, why did you call me strawberry pie? Because you are excellent and beautiful and can still make it. Perfect strawberry pie. Sudden, he thought of something. It turns out that his young master asked him to make strawberry pie every day for Master Urukai to eat. Later, Jean told Dilly the whole story. Dilly never expected that his young master would not only be able to do magic, but also, he is also a contractor of Soothlet, and he also has a guardian dragon. I am so proud and happy to be your wet nurse. Jean told him not to let anyone else know. Don't worry, strawberry pie, don't be nervous. I will guard this little devil. Soon, a group of them arrived at the checkpoint. Ulakai also transformed into a cat and lay on Jean's shoulder. Dilly is thanking the Black King group for this. Lose escort. I believe the Lenkit family will give you generous rewards. The captain said you're welcome. This mission was also a valuable experience for them, and he told Dilly, I am very optimistic about the little Lenkade you assist. Dilly McLaren, can I ask you something? What's up? Your personal strength is so strong. Why did you leave your family to be little Renkaid's wet nurse? He turned around and told him that there was no special reason and there was nothing to say. The captain quickly apologized and said he was rude. Then the Black King group and the others watched them leave. Finally, the author asks everyone a question. Can Nanny Dilly become a dragon knight in the end? In his last life, he was a genius magician. Regardless of his strength or status, he was someone I looked up to. But in this life, when I took out the Lenkate family's symbolic token at the mobile level and was arranged to meet him in first class, everything is different. There were 2 guards around him, protecting him, sitting in front of Jean, shouting that he would not go to Jupest. I actually met an annoying guy here, and I went to tease his black cat, but was scratched by Urukai. The guard saw that the young master was injured. Just as he was about to draw his sword, he was stopped by the young man in front of him. He told them that it would be a very foolish thing to draw a sword in front of a Renkade. Turning his head to look at Jean, he didn't expect that he didn't react at all to his deliberate provocation. It seems that the young master of the Lunkide family is very calm. So he walked up to Jean, introduced himself as Belatin Jipur, and formally apologized to you for his unreasonable behavior just now. Jean looked at him, never expecting to meet the most outstanding magician in the future at such a young age. Jean looked at him and said, I was also curious about what kind of person you are just now, but I can see that you are not stupid. Although you were joking with the guard just now, if those 2 guys really draw their swords, you won't have any followers on your way to Shopest. You still will lose 2 fingers. Upon hearing this, Belladin laughed and said Jean's joke was too scary, and Jean's face fell. He asked murderously, do you look like you are joking? Belatin felt a chill all over his body and coughed twice. He said okay, and then told Jean, if you meet someone from the Gimple family again, don't cut off their fingers at will. Otherwise it will cause headaches for both families. Sean laughed at Bellatin's naivety. Do you think our parents would use the family's power just because of the fight between children? Hearing this, Belatin thought about what Sean said, and said that he learned a trick from him. He will repay you in the future. And Jean told him no, he would repay the favor now. Bellatin was startled and asked him what he wanted in return. Before the mobile level starts, I hope you can stay quiet and don't disturb me. At this time, Belladin's soul suffered a critical blow. He secretly looked at Jean. I thought that this guy would definitely become a great person in a few years. Although we can't be friends because of family ties, but being a lifelong rival is not bad either. Jean was puzzled. This guy's fingers were almost cut off and he was still so excited. Are all the Gimples crazy? Soon the mobile level was activated, and there was also the possibility of teleportation. A friendly reminder that can cause headaches and dizziness. Balatin, who was about to start teleportation, shouted to Sean. Jean linkled, I'm very happy today, we'll see you later. Sean turned his face aside in disgust. Better not to say goodbye. After saying that, the teleportations started and they all disappeared here. Open your eyes again. Jean is in a new place. As soon as I opened the door, I heard someone saying, You are back, young master. It turns out to be the butler Botero. You've had a hard journey, young master, and welcome to the sword courtyard of the Luncade family. There are only real Lenkolds. Only the strong will have the opportunity to insert their swords into the sword pool. As the Shadow King, I must display my sword in it. Now I have returned to the family that kicked me out of my previous life. My father and mother are already waiting for my return at the door. I said hello to my mother. They noticed the black cat on me. My father asked me, Did you pick this cat up? But I replied domineeringly, I got it. My father was very positive about my answer. Yes, the Lunchade family should respond with this attitude after getting something. I didn't pay any attention to the stern looks from my brothers and sisters behind me, and watched the black cat jump off of me. My father asked me, What's the black cat's name? I said loudly, The cat's name is Dora Renkide. One brother actually said that I was messing around and dared to give animals my family name. I even asked my father to starve me for 3 days and 3 nights. My father shut them up and asked me why I chose this name. I clutched my chest. Her eyes firmly told him that it was just for fun. I, Jean Runkled, pick up whatever comes to my mind. My father asked me if I knew what the surname Lenkold meant. I hugged the black cat and told him, of course he knew. But if someone wants to do more harm, then I can only crush him to ashes. My father pointed to the place where my brothers and sisters were. Said, Jean, you are really good at making enemies. I completely ignored their jealous looks and answered my father, yes, I am really good at making enemies. And I'm good at killing enemies. My father heard it. He laughed and asked my brothers and sisters if they heard it. He turned around and told them, if you don't want to be stepped on by your little brother Jean, then you should work hard. Until 4 years later, when I was 14 years old, I was practicing swordsmanship. The sparring partner reminded me not to forget to receive training from Miss Luna in the afternoon. When it was time to eat, my little brother came to me with food. The person in front of me is my little brother Belop. He is from a commoner background. As expected, he will be eliminated from this selection, and then was kicked out. Seeing his weak and harmless look, I told him to be more confident, because you are a trainee of the Guardian Knight of my Lenkate family. This person looks weak and has low self-esteem, but in my previous life he was. After he was kicked out of his home, he joined Hayalan's famous swordsman family. Later, he became the loyal dog of the Bamante Empire, and finally turned into a ruthless Harshao and a ruthless massacrer. But then I heard the news that he had committed suicide. I also felt very uncomfortable. Regarding this matter, I decided to train this person to be my confidant, and I gave him my food. He looked at me happily, and I had decided that this time I would not let him be eliminated or ejected. He would be my assistant, accompany me to conquer all directions. After dinner, on the way to find Sister Luna, I was thinking about my current strength. Shadow Chi has reached 2 stars. My magic power has reached 4 stars and my swordsmanship has reached 2 stars. I am thinking about how to continue to improve my cultivation. Sister Luna is already waiting for me. He said, Dear brother, you are here. Today's training is the same as yesterday's, but you are no longer who you were yesterday. Use a different mentality to face the same training. I told him, Sister, I understand. I continued to listen to his teachings to me. Brother, listen with your ears and cut with your heart. If you want the sword to be sincere and flawless, it is to understand your heart. I am only a 2-star knight, but my sister taught me how to understand the realm that only a 7-star knight can penetrate. Just listen to him say, Brother, listen with your ears, chop with your heart, and never open your eyes. The sword cuts the body, and the heart cuts the soul. Now that I have decided, Sister Jin, I just have to concentrate on this moment, and my sister is doing it for my own good. Maybe one day I will understand my sister's good intentions. After the training, my sister said to me, Brother, you performed well today. Go back. I scratched my head and said thank you. Sister Luna. At this time, my sister looked at my leaving back and thought to herself, I know you can complete this training, but you can always exceed my expectations. The concentration and endurance you have shown are amazing, far beyond the level of a 2-star knight. Depending on your talent, you should be able to feel the starry eyes within a few years. Jean, I have ado. Let's keep growing like this. At this time I have arrived at the arena of the Lunkid family. This match is right. It is very important to be a Guardian Knight, because if you get good results, it is equivalent to becoming a Guardian Knight with 1 foot. And the instructor told me that this is also good news for me. He told me that if you can beat the top 10 in a row, you can go to the ultimate training class next year. I told him calmly that this was good news. It's easy for me to hit 10. Suddenly, I saw that familiar figure. That was my little brother Belop. He is still in that state today, although I will help him not to be expelled from here, but what I hope more is that he can become more confident. Soon, the instructor gathered them together and told them that the 10 best among the winners would then compete with Master Jean. They soon dueled together. I looked at the strength of each of them, and they were all very good. Only such talents you are worthy of being the Guardian Knight of Luncade. 10 winners were quickly selected. The instructor reminded me to be prepared. When I'm ready, then he raised his sword and defeated the first person with one move. I thought to myself, my previous record was to defeat 8 people in a row. Today I only need to win 2 more times. What I need to pay most attention to is the elite Masami Kano in front of me, who will soon become the official Guardian Knight. He held his sword and said to me, I will defeat you today, Master Jean. I smiled, indicating that I was not that easy to defeat. You can just go all out. I took his blow. I thought to myself, he is better than before, but there are 8 opponents behind me, so I have to change my attack style. Meisha was a little surprised after taking this move from me. Master Jean's moves were obviously very changeable, so why was he so aggressive at this moment? He guessed that Jean might be looking down on him and felt that he would lose. Okay, let's fight, Master Jean. If we want to conquer this entire world filled with strong men, would a Shadow King and a ruthless Hala Xiao be enough? However, even though Hala Xiao would become a strong man in the future, he was actually an unconfident Karami in his youth. At this time, he was witnessing it with other Guardian Knight trainees. I performed a one-on-one feat and saw that Meisha was gradually losing strength under my frontal suppression. I smiled like a winner because everything was under my control. Misa, who doesn't want to be defeated by me again, I gathered all my strength and struck me, and with a click I drew my sword and broke his sword. Mesa looked at his broken sword. I'm still wondering why I lost so miserably today, and I stood on the armrest with my sword raised and said to him, this is really a wonderful duel. But my sword is also broken. Meisha looked at her broken sword and fell into deep thought. How is it possible? After so many rounds of duel, Master John actually keeps attacking the same spot on my sword. Then he looked at me and thought, is the young master of the Luncade family really invincible? However, he was not discouraged and shouted to me firmly, I will continue to work hard and beat you next time. And I thought to myself, next time you can only look at the corner of my clothes. After defeating Mesa, the remaining people will be easy. Soon I defeated the 10th man. Instructor, congratulations on being promoted to the intermediate class, and being able to receive guidance from members of the Luncade family. It was about to end for lunch and I asked the instructor, how long until lunchtime? He told me that there were still 10 minutes. What's the matter, master? I raised my sword, nothing happened, but I just wanted to challenge one more person, and that was Bellop, the trembling young man in front of me. After I was expelled from Luncade in my previous life, under his experience, but he became a killing god. In the end, he committed suicide for unknown reasons. I will let him be used by me in this life. Change his tragic fate. He was petrified to hear that I was going to compete with him. Let me strangle you, young master, are you crazy? He still looked frightened. I pointed my sword at him and said, you can't survive in Luncade like this. Because there is no need for cowardly incompetence here. Come out and fight me. There are only true strong men of the Luncade family. Only then can I insert the accessory into the sword finger. As the Shadow King, I must display my sword in it. Now I have returned to the family that kicked me out of my previous life. My father and mother were already waiting for my return at the door. I said hello to my mother, and they noticed the black cat on me. My father asked me, did you pick this cat up? I replied domineeringly, I got it. My father was very sure of my answer. That's right, this is the attitude that the Luncade family should respond to after getting something. I didn't pay any attention to the stern looks from my brothers and sisters behind me, watching the black cat jump off of me. My father asked me, what's the name of the black cat? I said loudly, the cat's name is Dora Lencade. One brother actually said that I was messing around, dared to give animals my family name, and even asked my father to starve me for 3 days and 3 nights. My father shut them up and asked me why I chose this name. I clutched my chest and told him firmly, just casually playing around. I, Jean Runkled, pick up whatever comes to my mind. My father asked me if I knew what the surname Lenkled meant. I hugged the black cat and told him of course he knew. But if someone wants to do more harm, then I can only crush him to ashes. My father pointed to the place where my brothers and sisters were. Said, Jean, you are really good at making enemies. I completely ignored their jealous look and answered my father, yes, I am really good at making enemies. And I'm good at killing enemies. My father laughed when he heard it and asked my brothers and sisters if they heard it. He turned and told them, if you don't want to be stepped on by your little brother Jean, then you should work hard. Until 4 years later, when I was 14 years old, I was practicing swordplay, and my sparring partner reminded me not to forget to receive training from Miss Luna in the afternoon. It's time to eat. My little brother came to me with food. The person in front of me is my little brother Bellop. He is from a commoner background. If nothing happens, he will be eliminated from this selection. And then was kicked out. Seeing his weak and harmless look, I told him to be more confident, because you are a trainee of the Guardian Knight of my Lencade family. This person looks weak and has low self-esteem. But in my previous life, after he was kicked out of his home, he joined Hyalan's famous swordsman family. Later, he became the loyal dog of the Bamante Empire, and finally turned into a ruthless halashao, a ruthless massacrer. But then I heard the news that he had committed suicide. I also felt very uncomfortable. Regarding this matter, I decided to train this person to be my confidant, and I gave him my food. He looked at me happily, and I had decided that this time I would not let him be eliminated or ejected. He would be my assistant, accompany me to conquer all directions. After dinner, on the way to find Sister Luna, I was thinking about my current strength. Shadow Chi has reached 2 stars. My magic power has reached 4 stars, and my swordsmanship has reached 2 stars. I am thinking about how to continue raising it. Improve my cultivation. Sister Luna is already waiting for me. She said, "Dear brother, you are here. Today's training is the same as yesterday's, but you are no longer who you were yesterday. Use a different mentality to face the same training." I told her, "Sister, I understand." I continued to listen to her teachings to me. "Brother, listen with your ears and chop with your heart. If you want the sword to be true and flawless, then you need to understand the mind's eye. I am only a 2-star knight, but my sister taught me how to understand the realm that only a 7-star knight can penetrate. Just listen to her say, brother, listen with your ears and chop with your heart. Never open your eyes. The sword cuts the body and cuts the heart. Soul, now that I have decided to believe in my sister, I just focus on my spirit at this moment. My sister is all for my own good. Maybe one day I will understand her good intentions." After the training, my sister said to me, "Brother, you performed well today. Go back." I scratched my head and said, "Thank you, Sister Luna." At this time, my sister looked at my leaving figure and thought to herself, "I know you can complete this training, but you always exceed my expectations. The concentration and endurance you have shown are amazing, far beyond the level of a 2-star knight. Depending on your talent, you should be able to feel the mind's eye within a few years. Jean, I have a due. Let's keep growing like this." At this time, I have arrived in Lunkai, the family's arena. This game is very important to the Guardian Knight, because getting good grades is equivalent to being a Guardian Knight with 1 foot. And the instructor told me that this is also good news for me. He told me that if you can beat the top 10 in a row, you can go to the ultimate training class next year. I told him calmly, "This is also good news. It's easy for me to hit 10. Suddenly, I saw that familiar figure. That was my little brother Balop. He is still in that state today. Although I will help him not to be expelled from here, what I hope more is that he can become more confident. Soon, the instructor gathered them and told them that the winner is the best. 10 outstanding people are sparring with Master Jean. They soon dueled together. I looked at the strength of each of them. They are all very good. Only such talents are worthy of being the Guardian Knight of Luncade. 10 winners were quickly selected, and the instructor reminded me to be prepared. When I was ready, I raised my sword and defeated the first person with 1 move. I thought to myself, my previous record was to defeat 8 people in a row. Today I only need to win 2 more times. And what I need to pay most attention to is the person in front of me. The elite Masami Kano soon became the official Guardian Knight. He held the sword and said to me, "I will defeat you today, Master Jean." I smiled and said that I am not that easy to defeat. You can just go all out. I took his knife. I thought to myself that he was stronger than before. But there are 8 opponents behind me, so I have to change my attack style. Meisha was a little surprised after taking this move from me. Master Jean's moves were obviously very changeable, so why was he so aggressive at this moment? He guessed that Jean might be looking down on him and felt that he would lose. Okay, let's fight, Master Jean. If we want to conquer this entire world filled with strong men, would a Shadow King and a ruthless Halashao be enough? However, even though Halashao would become a strong man in the future, he was actually an unconfident Karami in his youth. This time, he was witnessing my one-on-one feat with other Guardian Knight trainees. Seeing Meisha gradually weakening under my frontal oppression, I smiled like a winner because everything was under my control. Misa, who didn't want to be defeated by me again, gathered all her strength and struck me. There was just a click, and I broke his sword with a single slash. Meisha looked at his broken sword, still wondering why he lost so miserably today. And I stood on the armrest with my sword raised and said to him, "This is really a wonderful duel, but my sword is also broken." Meisha looked at her broken sword and fell into deep thought. How is it possible? After so many rounds of duel, Master Jean actually, always attacking the same spot on my sword. Then he looked at me and thought, is the young master of the Lunshade family really invincible? However, he was not discouraged and shouted to me firmly, "I will continue to work hard and I will defeat you next time." And I thought to myself, next time you can only look at the corner of my clothes. After defeating Mesa, the remaining few people will be easy. Soon I defeated the 10th man. Instructor, congratulations on being promoted to the intermediate class and being able to receive guidance from members of the Luncade family. It was about to end for lunch and I asked the instructor, how long before lunchtime? He told me there were still 10 minutes. What's the matter, master? I lift. It's nothing. I just want to challenge one more person, and that's Belop, the trembling young man in front of me. After I was expelled from Luncade in my previous life, under his experience, he became a generational killing god. In the end, he mutilated himself for unknown reasons. In this life, I will let him be used by me and change his tragic fate. Hearing that I want to compete with him, he was petrified. Let me strangle you, young master. Are you crazy? He still looked frightened. I pointed my sword at him and said, "You can't survive in Luncade like you are now, because there is no need for cowardly and incompetent people here. Come out and fight me." Normally, the inconspicuous little brother Belop is actually the owner of the Golden Dragon Soul. If the Golden Dragon Soul fights with the Shadow King, who is stronger? He asked me with sharp eyes. Master, do you really want to see your true strength? I raised my sword and said to him, come here, don't be merciful. Young master, you really made a wrong choice. You should fight me first before those 10 people. As he spoke, he raised his sword and attacked me. I hurriedly accepted his attack. I just felt so domineering and fierce. With a loud click, my sword broke. As I retreated, I couldn't help but sigh to myself. I didn't expect Belop to be so strong. I have always known that he is very capable. Every time he faces others, he would deliberately lose to his opponent during sparring, but he didn't expect that he could now use his righteous energy. Watching him attack me again, I stopped holding back and hit his hand with a broken sword. I knocked his sword to the ground. It also shocked him to the point of numbness. I took advantage of the situation and went around behind him, and then suppressed him so that he could not move. Looking at the defeated Belop, I let go of him. While coughing, he blamed me for stopping and promised not to show mercy. Now he feels like I might be humiliating him. I told him I felt bad doing it. I squatted in front of him and told him that I knew this would make you feel like I was embarrassing you. But I want you to know that only the truly strong can sympathize with the weak. I patted his shoulder. Shoulder said, I like his kindness very much, but in this hellish world, you can't survive just by being kind. I hope you can become strong enough to keep your heart with me, with everyone here. Looking at Belop, who was crying, I comforted him and apologized to him. At this time, the maid just delivered lunch. Belop wiped away his tears and said to me, Master, please go get today's lunch by yourself. I smiled and said to him, okay, I will bring your lunch with me today. I was born into the family of Renkai, a famous swordsman who ruled half the world. My father's strength has even reached the demigod level, and he is the strongest man who can fight with the gods. When he learned that the youngest son of the family, that is to say, I was recognized by the sword of the God King at a very young age. And I also had the Shadow God contract that was only available to the first-generation family head. My father monitors everything I do all the time, even my every word and deed. On this day, Khan told the head of the family again about my recent affairs. He actually burst out laughing after hearing this. It turns out that his youngest son's belief is this. Although he has to take the invincible road, but he will also take care of the weak. My father decided to see if what I believed in had any value. He ordered Khan to pass on his first order to me. That was the first secret mission given to Jean Runkeld. And now I am 15. His strength has reached the level of a 3-star knight. My good brother Belop also became confident under my influence. After we were promoted to the intermediate class, the wooden swords used in training were replaced by iron swords. Some trainees even asked specialized swordsmiths to make their accessories, and I also had to choose my sword from the family's arsenal. At this time, my eldest sister Luna told me that she had gone to great lengths to find and select a sword that suited me very well. A month ago, my sister wanted to help me choose accessories. At her request, I could only let her worry more. After all, my sister has very vicious eyes. It's definitely better to let her choose for me than to choose myself. Just as she was talking, my sister took out her hand for me. Prepared accessories. I just heard a clang sound and I scratched my head. Is this a dragon-slaying knife? My sister told me that this was the Massacre of Bells. It's the sword he used when he was my age. He thought I was very suitable for using such an axe and sword. My sister raised the sword lovingly and asked me if I liked this one. I quickly told her, Sister, thank you very much for choosing a sword for me, but this sword is not suitable for me. It was obvious that my sister looked disappointed. She told me she was just joking with me, so she was going to take me to see another sword. As the door to the family arsenal opens, my sister told me that she has been thinking for a long time about what kind of sword is best for you. Then I thought of him, the god you chose in the selection ceremony as a child. Sword, and this one is the brother sword of the sword of the God King, the sword of Hades. If you had a magic sword that could cut off all things, isn't the first thing you want to do? When I was 15 years old, my 9-star strong sister personally gave me 2 world-destroying divine swords for me to choose from. One hand can kill gods, and one hand can kill evil spirits. When I saw the sword of Hades, I couldn't put it down and held it in my hand. My sister asked me, Brother, do you like it? I told my sister with some excitement, Of course I do. Among so many swords in the family, this one is in the top 3. This is the sword that I originally tried my best to get. Unexpectedly, my sister personally gave me the sword of the God King and Hades. Divine swords are the swords most suitable for use with chi. If I were to ask for it myself, I would definitely be blocked by other brothers and sisters. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Luna-san for receiving such a precious sword. Unexpectedly, my sister said to me, Brother, there is no need to say thank you between you and me. You actually treat your sister as an outsider. This will make her sad. Just when I was about to explain, my sister stopped me. Jean, don't explain. My sister is already sad, so you have to comfort her hurt heart. Just when I was confused, my sister asked me to close my eyes and start training. At this time, my sister said to me again, Although we were born in such a family, brothers fight with each other, but you also have to remember, there are also people who will love you without asking for anything in return. You should keep this in mind. Don't make your sister sad next time. I quickly apologized to my sister and said I would never do it again next time. My sister said sadly, Before I was born, she had been heartbroken by the indifference between blood relatives. My sister doesn't want me to be like her. It feels so lonely at my age. I rubbed the painful shoulder pinched by my sister, told her that I understood, and asked her to rest assured. After hearing this, my sister smiled happily and looked up at the sky. Nothing happened. Let's continue training. Jean, again, remember to listen with your ears, cut with your heart, and learn to see with your heart's eye. After a day of training, I happily went to find Ulla with my sword in hand. Kai showed off, but Kai disapprovedly asked me to put the sword away and mocked me for not being proficient in the use of shadow energy. If you want to use the shadow chi level of Pluto's sword, you need to reach 3 stars. Don't think about it if you are only 2 stars now. The most you can do now is imitate the move that awakens the sword. I wasn't happy to hear what he said. Well, Kai, I will have 3 stars of shadow chi soon. Can I use it right away? When Kai heard this, he closed his book suddenly. Pluto boy, keep your ears open and listen. Kai held my head. Tell me that the sword of Pluto and the sword of the Divine King cannot be used casually. You must use them as ordinary swords until you reach the 5th level of shadow chi. Got it? I shake it off. His hand told him, I don't have that much patience. I want to reach the 5-star shadow chi level within a year. How powerful is this boy? Not only did the god of shadows sign a contract with him, but he was also recognized by the strongest black dragon in the dragon clan. Be his guardian beast yourself. 6-star strong sister Mary gave him phoenix heart soup to enhance his strength. Luna, the 9-star powerhouse elder sister, who can defeat Tien even in a battle with half a move, personally trained him and also gave him the world-destroying magic weapon and a life-saving pendant. He also has his younger brother Bellop, who will become the strongest man in the continent, following him. If these situations are given to you, is it difficult to rule the entire world? And just today I am talking to Hey, when Kai was arguing about whether he could raise his shadow energy to the 5th level within a year, the wet nurse Ji Li hurried over and said to me, Master, there is a family order coming. I quickly asked him what happened. It turned out that Instructor Galen came to see me. Originally, he was supposed to come in person, but he said he would tell you the battle strategy while looking at the map. So I need you to go there in person. After hearing the news, I was very confused. Does this battle have anything to do with me? The wet nurse told me. Instructor Galen assigned me the first task, and I will set off in a few days. I scratched my head to show that I understood. I solemnly told Gili, now that I am a 3-star knight, it's time to do tasks to share the family's worries. But past. Setting off in just a few days is too hasty. The nanny felt a little sorry for her young master. He said that the tasks are all difficult and they will only be assigned tasks after reaching the intermediate class. The young master was dragged into combat as soon as he joined the intermediate class. He told me to be careful in everything. I told him it didn't matter, I could handle this. You and Kai wait for me here first, and I'll go confirm the situation. Soon I came to the tactics hall where Instructor Galen was. I asked him if he had assigned me a task. Instructor Galen asked me to come to him quickly. He was holding a list of participants for this mission. There are 10 junior class trainees including me. From Garen's mouth, I learned that this mission was to explore the southern part of the Kingdom of Gon. Regardless of the area near the border, this kingdom is very close to the land of the orcs, and even the location marked on the map is near the base camp of the White Wolf tribe. I looked at the map and fell into deep thought. How could I send junior trainees to a place like this? The difficulty is too high. I took the list of personnel given to me by Instructor Galen. I looked at such a difficult task and the team members who accompanied me on the task. It all seemed like someone's deliberate instructions. The news about my duel with Bellop must have reached my father's ears, and he planned to use this mission to test me. Thinking of this, I crumpled the map into a ball. If you want to see it, then go ahead and let me prove my belief to you. My word. Road. How firm is it? When the Shadow King and the Son of the Dragon Soul worked together on a mission, even the vicious Pokemon orcs personally paid them protection fees. Even their clan leader took out the salted fish that he had collected for many years to honor the king in front of him. At this time, in order to prove my belief to my father, we have arrived at the southern border. There are crises everywhere. After arriving at the central area, I ordered them to set up camp immediately. Then a search mission was launched near the camp. When they set off, I told them that they could no longer call me master during the mission. They all call me captain. While I was running, I was praying that the target we were searching for was still alive. After a while, Bellop came to report to me. Right. I Ding and the others seem to have met the genie orcs. I took off my hat after listening to what he said. I told him that these Pokemon guys are very docile, and they will actively avoid predators. Wherever they are, there will definitely be no white wolves. I looked at Bellop, who had changed his hairstyle in front of me. He gave him an order to return to the camp in advance, and then go to the 13th area to explore, because there was no need to search anymore nearby. The rest of the people immediately went to the 13th area. When everyone went to carry out my order, I noticed something was wrong. This mission was assigned to me by my father's personal order, but everything is going too smoothly so far. Did I blame my father wrongly? Just when I was thinking about it, suddenly, I discovered that the fierce Pokemon clan Underground came forward and stopped us. Their clan leader actually gave me a fish as a gift, because he felt very pitiful when he saw us in the heavy snow. I thanked him and said I would thank you again when I have the opportunity in the future. Soon, we came to the 13th area. I opened the map and thought that if we go further, we will reach the land of the orcs. With the strength of our junior trainees, it is difficult to fight against the physically powerful orcs. There is no need for me to put everyone at risk in order to succeed in my mission. Next, just carefully screen the safe area. However, at this moment, panicked footsteps came and called the young master. When I heard it, I knew something was wrong because I had my life. Order them not to call me master. I asked him loudly what happened. I saw Bellop panting and said to me, Master Jean, the second group was attacked. Hearing this, I was shocked. Did something really happen? I immediately ordered everyone to move and asked Bellop to explain the situation to me carefully. Bellop told me, all members of the second group dispersed to avoid the enemy, and only one person escaped and fled back to the camp. When I inquired, I learned that the ones who attacked us were not orcs, but 3 humans. Who took the courage of an ambitious leopard and dared to attack my Lunkai family with just 3 people? I thought about it carefully. There must be more than 3 people. I asked Eden and David to go to the camp and be on standby, alert to the surroundings, while I took Bellop and Ike and ran towards the direction where the second group was attacked. I want to see which force dares to challenge my majesty. Although I don't know who they are and what their purpose is, but my people have been attacked. Anyone who offends our Luncade will be punished no matter how far away they are. They are waiting to pay the price. If my father, who is in the demigod realm, was informed that someone was attacking the Rencade family, which ruled half the world, an army of millions might arrive soon after. As the youngest son in the family, I cannot make a fuss about my first mission. So, I took my little brother Bellop and Ike and ran towards the place where I was attacked. When we got there, I saw blood on the ground and knew they had been attacked. I decide, we will make those who attacked us pay a price. My little brother Bellop said to me with some fear, Master, are all the people in Meisha's group dead? I leaned down and observed the scene carefully, and told him, Bellop, please calm down. The blood here has not solidified yet, and there are no signs of falling. This shows that they fought here and finally escaped. Judging from the footprints here, there is only one enemy. At this time, Ike found a bandage in the west and reported it to me. I praised him for a job well done. Now that I knew the direction everyone was escaping from, I stood up. Ike, you go back to the camp to join the others. Bellop, you and I will catch up with them now. Soon, Bellop and I, while searching westward, I finally found them in one place. But we found that everyone in the second group was there. Only there is no Misa and there are only 2 enemies. I asked Bellop to close his eyes and wait 2 seconds before attacking the enemy on the left. Then I took out the dagger I had on my leg. Urukai told me that the sharpness and lethality of a weapon wrapped in shadow energy will be significantly enhanced. Then try the power of shadow energy today. I threw it towards the enemy, but he didn't notice the dagger wrapped in shadow energy at all. Then he was pierced by my sword. While the team members were still surprised by what was happening in front of them, Bellop also came behind the enemy on the other side with a sword. This person is quite strong. Yes, he actually noticed Bellop and blocked the sudden blow. What he doesn't know is, there is another me. I pulled out the Pluto Divine Sword and struck him with thunder, lightning, and fire. He immediately lost the ability to fight and knelt on the ground, and I pressed my legs against his neck, preventing him from continuing to move. Then I asked the others, are you okay? They were all hurt. Tell me, Master, we have no shame to see you. We are fine, but Meisha was taken away. I asked them to deal with their wounds first. Then I looked at the enemy in front of me, begging me not to kill him, and I said to him, you must not be a follower of the Jeeper family if you cherish your life so much. I give you 2 choices. One is to tell your origin and purpose, where the base camp is, then I will only kill you. Second, if you don't say anything, everyone related to you will die. My name is Jalen Cade, and I promise you on the honor of my family that I will not break my promise. He wisely chose the first option. I learned from him that he was from Jinjero's group. I was also startled when I heard this name, because I had heard the name of this organization in my previous life. In their previous life, they killed the king of the Jian Kingdom and massacred civilians. This Jinjiero group claims to be fighting for justice, and what they call justice is to make their king the king of the whole world. I asked him if your plan was to attack the trainees of Lunkai's family, provoking chaos in the Jian Kingdom, and he said that he was just a little shrimp and didn't know the core information, or where the base camp was. However, the branch is located at the entrance of the Orc land, and there are about 24-star warriors and magicians. After hearing what he said, I asked him the last question, which was why did you take Meisha away alone? It turns out they wanted to promote Mesa as an event. When he finished, I raised my sword and told him I would keep my promise. So ended him. Let me ask everyone, how long has it been since Meisha was taken away? They told me it had been an hour. Then he must still be at the entrance to the Orc land. I asked Bellop to take them to take care of their wounds. Go to my house again and ask for support. And Norden asked me in disbelief, Master, do you want to save Mesa alone? Those who attacked us were 4-star level warriors. There are more than 20 such strong guys in the branch. It's too dangerous for you to go alone. We are just trainees of the family. It is normal to have casualties in the line of duty. After hearing what he said, I closed my sword and told him, you are right, but the trainee of the Luncade family has been captured. As a descendant of Luncade, how can I ignore it? Stop trying to persuade me. If anyone refutes me, I will be punished with disobedience. After hearing what I said, everyone was silent. I told Bellop, you must be very alert, because now everyone in the second group is injured, and he is the strongest among the remaining people. Bello, I promise I will live up to my destiny. So I ran towards the entrance of the orc land. I would definitely have time to rescue Mesa. So what if there are more enemies? I have one sword and one sword. If the Shadow King and the Orc Garuru were to fight, who would you support more? Not long ago, someone actually asked me when I was performing a family mission. Not only did they attack my team members, but they also kidnapped Misa. I, Jean, will bring back as many people as I bring out. Then, I headed towards the enemy branch alone to rescue Misa. When I was approaching my destination, I thought that the enemy had more than 24-star warriors and magicians. As for my current strength, my swordsmanship and shadow energy are 3 stars, and my magic power is 4 stars. Although my strength is improving very quickly now, but it is simply impossible to defeat so many people in one go. However, the most important thing is to rescue Misa and know where she is. So, I put my hand on the ground and cast the magic earth detection, and at the same time cast another sense magic, wind wings. After a while of exploration, I found their traces and headed towards the grassland. However, the person didn't go far, so I got up and chased him out. However, at this moment, a dark sword came towards me, and I hurriedly dodged it. A hidden voice sounded around him, grabbing him, the sound of training from the Luncade family. Looking at the enemies that suddenly appeared, 2 4-star warriors and a 4-star magician, I gathered my magic power and used magic to jump towards them. They didn't have time to react, and I killed one of them in an instant. They were very surprised. How could the Luncade family use magic? The remaining 4-star swordsman raised his sword and struck at me. I unhurriedly pulled out my Pluto sword and shattered his weapon with just one blow. How could the power of the divine sword be resisted by an ordinary soldier? However, at this time, the 4-star magician behind him had already completed his magic with his scepter. He asked the person just now to retreat quickly, and then released the magic fire winding towards me. The chains formed by the fire instantly bound my arms. The 4-star swordsman also showed a triumphant smile and attacked me again. However, what he never expected was that I was not affected at all. Between the electric light and flint, I first cut him in half with a sword, and after finishing him, I grabbed the fire chain and planned to drag the magician in front of me. He quickly cut off the connection with the chain and said arrogantly, "Since fire is ineffective on you, then try the power of my ice roar." He released magic crystal arrows one after another at me. The pendant Sister Luna gave me was shining brightly on my chest, and released a protective light curtain to resist the incoming magic attack for me. In his unbelievable eyes, I also sent him to die with his companions. After dealing with these people, I couldn't help but sigh to myself. These Jinjiero people underestimate us. The traces of travel on the road have not been erased. I followed the traces and followed them to their location. At this time I, knowing that they must divert their attention to create an opportunity to rescue Mesa, I used fire magic to ignite the place, and soon the fire was burning. I used wind magic to drive away the smoke, thinking that they would come out and put out the fire. Sure enough, these people soon came out to put out the fire. When a leader yells at others that they are idiots, why are they all standing there? The magician quickly uses water magic to put out the fire. This weather must have been intentional. When he shouted for others to search around, I came behind him. When he noticed me, it was too late. I also found the key on him. After arriving in the room, I found a secret door hiding the basement. As expected, Mesa was inside. He asked the young master in disbelief, "What's wrong with you? It's very dangerous here." I said to him with concern, "Mesa, you don't have to worry about me. Can you still leave?" After saying that, I cut the rope on his hand. Mesa told me it was okay to leave. It's not possible to run. However, I don't know what happened above, and there was a loud noise. Mesa said to me with firm eyes, "Master, if you really encounter a dangerous situation, please leave me behind. You must not die here." I supported him and walked out. Talk less. Go out first and then talk. When we walked out, we were shocked by what happened. All the enemies just now have fallen to the ground. Seeing the wounds on their bodies, I understood that they were done by orcs, and they were orcs of the fighting race. Suddenly, there was a loud noise behind us. Looking back, it was Meisha, a white wolf orc, who said, "Master, run quickly, I will buy you time." Before he could finish, I knocked him unconscious. After settling in Meisha, the white wolf warrior said, "A bunch of trash can't even put out a fire. There is no use in living." After saying that, he stared at me and asked, "Kid, did you let me go?" Facing this powerful white wolf clan, I was not timid at all. I stood up with my sword in hand and said to him, "Yes, I am the son of Silent Cade, and my name is Jeroen Cade." "Orc, tell me your name." After hearing me announcing my home, the white wolf clan actually showed an intriguing smile. "Luncade, it turns out you are from the Luncide family." In the age of war between the gods, Timar, the first head of the Luncide family, participated in the war as a godslayer and killed the wolf god Warwick. Now Shino, the descendant of Luncide, is me, and I have met the descendant of the wolf god. And facing this powerful white wolf clan, I'm not afraid at all. I stood with my sword in my hand and told him that I was Jean Runkeld, the son of Silent Runkeld, a descendant of Timar. I know I can't avoid a fierce battle at this time. The lowest level of the adult white wolf tribe is a 6-star warrior. and the White Wolf tribe is famous for hating the Luncade family. And after he heard that I was from the Luncade family, he even wanted to sacrifice me to the wolf god Warwick. He pointed at me with the giant axe in his hand and asked, "Little devil of the Luncade family, do you choose to fight me openly or run away like a mouse and then be torn into pieces by me?" When I heard him say this, as a member of the Luncade family, my eyes did not give in at all. I told him that I want to fight you openly. Hearing what I said, he swooped towards me with his giant axe, and I held onto my Pluto sword tightly at this time. I blocked the attack when he got in front of me. I couldn't help but think to myself, as expected of the White Wolf clan, just one blow was enough to shock me. Looking at the White Wolf warriors who were retreating and preparing to attack again, I thought to myself that I had a chance of winning because I had a trump card that the enemy didn't know about. I have a pendant that my eldest sister gave me and I can still use it. Magic and hidden energy, but how can I use the pendant in a crisis of this level? If I use it at this time, how can I become a strong person? If I use magic, my 4-star magic cannot break the orcs' defense at all. They will also be pursued by the family's guardian knights. It was revealed that I had violated a family taboo. At this time, I can only break the situation by using hidden energy. Facing the fierce offensive of the White Wolf clan, I want to unseal my Pluto Divine Sword. At this time, the White Wolf tribe warrior praised me for being able to perform 2 moves under his hands. He also said that my sword is very similar to the sword of the God King, the symbol of my family. The warriors of the White Wolf tribe said they would put my sword on the altar with me. At this time, I was getting more and more tired and decided to follow that night. Try to unblock the feeling of the sword and revive it. I remembered what Ulakai had said to me that night. If the sword is forcibly awakened when the shadow energy is not strong enough, it will be sucked into the rampaging shadow energy and die in pain. But at this time, I can no longer care about so much. Wake up, Pluto's sword. I saw that at this time a field was formed with me as the center. The shadow energy is released in me. The White Wolf warriors were shocked. What is going on? Why can't I see anything now? Kid, what have you done? But I didn't answer him. I just picked up the sword of Hades and struck it. Looking at the sword of Hades in his hand, I didn't know before that why the sword that symbolizes the family is black. At this time, the White Wolf clan brought. Unwilling to kneel on the ground, he muttered, "Impossible." I looked at him with my sword horizontally and said, "It's your honor if an orc dies under my sword." After finishing off the White Wolf tribe, I could no longer hold on and stumbled to the ground, and the backlash of shadow energy also came, and I was wrapped in shadow energy. At this time, strong resentment and negative emotions swept through, want to break my inner world. Damn you kid, what did I tell you? Did you forget? When I'm about to lose myself, it seems that I heard Ulakai's voice. Your shadow energy is not enough. If you forcefully awaken the sword, you will definitely pay the price. Are you going to wait there to die now? Jean runkled. Stand up. If you don't pull yourself together, you're going to die somewhere. At this time I listen. I didn't know where the strength came from, and I stood up with support. I cannot be consumed by negativity and darkness. I thought about the method Ulakai taught me, the most elementary way of releasing shadow energy. After I calmed down and tried again and again, I finally got rid of the control of the shadow energy. I carefully checked my condition. The pain in my body disappeared, and the shadow energy in my body became extremely full. It's too late to think about this. We must take Meisha out of here quickly. If another member of the White Wolf clan or Jinjero comes, there will be another fierce battle. And at this time, a noise caught my attention. Who was there? I saw a yellow-haired boy emerging from the rubble shouting, "Help me!" I raised my sword and asked him who he was. He was from Jinjero. He quickly raised his hands to show that he was not a bad person and told me his name was Sam. It belongs to the Bill family of the Kingdom of Gaian. At this moment, I suddenly realized that he was the person I wanted to rescue in this mission. I told him that I am Jean of the Luncade family, and I have been commissioned to come here to find you. After he heard my identity, as if he had met a savior, he shed tears of excitement. Looking at his expression of gratitude, I felt embarrassed because I had forgotten about the rescue mission because of Jinjero's appearance. The Shadow King actually started a life and death showdown with the Desert God of Death, under the pressure of his 6-star strength. With 3-star strength, I used my shadow energy to unblock the Sword of Hades, regardless of the danger to my life, and defeated the 6-star warrior Bai Longzi with 1 move, and also completed the search and rescue mission. Faced with Sam's thanks, I carried Mesa on my back. Tell the blonde boy in front of you that your family only uses money to do things. But I'm very confused. How was he kidnapped by Jinjero? After questioning, I learned that he came here with his dead lover, and that his lover was gone 2 years ago. But he saw exactly the same person appearing in front of him. At this time, I thought to myself, this must have been done by Bubal, the transformation warlock, and they probably kidnapped Sam for money. This transformation warlock left the Stormfield when I was 10 years old. This is the second time. He had an intersection. What on earth is he plotting? Why are you involved with Jinjero's people? I must go and meet him in person to see what kind of person he is. At this time, I was thinking about it. When I took the time to visit the carving workshop he opened in the Principality of Carano during the training of the ultimate class, Sam thought I was listening to him very seriously, and he was extremely grateful after knowing that I asked my family for help. In order to save him, the young master actually dispatched the Guardian Knight. However, he didn't know that all this was for Mesa. He told me that he would always remember my life-saving grace. If you have any use in the future, come to his place and just ask. Soon I returned to my home and my wet nurse congratulated me on my excellent completion of my first task. However, Urukai was already furious at this time, with murderous intent hidden in his eyes. He suddenly stepped forward and bit my hand. I don't understand why Urukai did this to me, and he reprimanded me loudly. Are you crazy? I have told you so many times that you cannot unblock the divine sword when your energy is low. After becoming a human, he hated me even more for risking my life, and reprimanded me for being Soldra's only contractor, and that it was not worth risking my life no matter what. I told Urukai the whole story. He blamed me for not using the pendant given by my eldest sister. Do I really think of it as an accessory? I firmly told Urukai that we might encounter some powerful enemies in the future. How could it be used so easily? Seeing me being so unruly, Urukai was so angry that he was shaking. I'm curious how Urukai knew. I forcibly unlocked the Sword of Hades, and Urukai said angrily, do you still need to feel it? Your current shadow weapon has been upgraded from 3 stars to 4.5 stars. Can't you see it yet? If you had a magic sword that could cut off all things, wouldn't the first thing you want to do be to break the sky? When I was 15 years old, my 9-star strong sister personally gave me 2 world-destroying divine swords for me to choose from. One of them can kill gods. One handful can kill an immortal. When I saw the Sword of Hades, I couldn't put it down and held it in my hand. My sister asked me, brother, do you like it? I told my sister excitedly, of course I like it. Among the many swords in the family, this one is in the top 3. This is the sword I originally tried my best to get. Unexpectedly, my sister personally gave me the Sword of the God King and the Sword of Hades, both of which are the most suitable swords to be used with chi. If I were to ask for it myself, there will definitely be resistance from other brothers and sisters. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Luna-san for receiving such a precious sword. Unexpectedly, my sister said to me, brother, there is no need to say thank you between you and me. You actually treat my sister as an outsider. This will make my sister sad. Just when I was about to explain, my sister stopped me. Jean, don't explain. My sister is already sad, so you have to comfort her hurt heart. Just when I was confused, my sister asked me to close my eyes and start training. At this time, my sister said to me again, although we were born in such a family of brothers, they fight with each other, but you must also remember that there are also people who love you without asking for anything in return. You must remember this. Don't make your sister sad next time. I quickly apologized to my sister and said I would never do it again next time. My sister said a little sadly, before I was born, she had been heartbroken by the indifference between blood relatives. My sister didn't want me to be like her, feeling lonely at my age. I rubbed the shoulder that was pinched by my sister and told her, I understand, please don't worry, sister. After hearing this, my sister smiled happily and looked up at the sky. It's okay, just keep training. Jeez. As I said before, remember to listen with your ears, cut with your heart, and learn to see with your heart. After a day of training, I happily took it. I went to show off to Urukai, but Urukai disapprovingly asked me to put the sword away. He also mocked me for not being proficient in the use of shadow energy now. If you want to use the shadow energy level of Pluto's divine sword, you need to reach 3 stars. If you are only 2 stars now, don't think about it. The most you can do now is imitate the move that awakens the sword. I'm not happy to hear what he said. Well, Urukai, I'll be 3 stars in shadow chi in no time. Can it be used immediately? When Urukai heard this, he suddenly closed his book and said, boy, please listen carefully. Urukai held my head and told me that the Sword of Hades and the Sword of the God King cannot be used casually. You must use them as ordinary swords until you reach the 5th level of Shadow Chi. Got it? I told him while shaking off his hand. I don't have that much patience. I want to reach Hidden Chi 5 stars within a year. This young man has signed a contract with the God of Shadows since he was a child. Not only can he practice swordsmanship and magic at the same time, but he can also master the hidden energy that can only be used by those who are contractors of the Shadow God. And I forcibly unlocked the divine sword during a battle with a powerful enemy. I suffered backlash, but finally managed to survive with my perseverance. At this time, Urukai was reprimanding me for my reckless behavior. I looked at the hidden energy that was filling my body, and sure enough, it had almost risen from 3 stars to 5 stars. Urukai told me that people who have experienced hidden energy violence. There were 11, including me, and 9 of them were dead. I asked him doubtfully, who else survived besides me? He is the first-generation head of the family. Lord? Urukai told me that the first-generation head of the family couldn't bear it. The only other person who survived was himself. I reassure Urukai, I won't let the shadow energy burst back again, because this experience is really too painful. However, what I didn't know at this time was that my 2 sisters were discussing my affairs. They couldn't understand, how could Jean with 3-star strength defeat the White Wolf clan? My sister Annie thinks that the White Wolf tribe I met is very weak, and a certain sister felt it was unreasonable. And my mother didn't even doubt it, she just believed it. They quickly called the Toner brothers for questioning. They weren't surprised at all that I could defeat the White Wolf clan. The important thing is that I am coming to the ultimate class. In my previous life, I often bullied my 2 older brothers, but now it is. I am like a big devil. Thinking about what it feels like to be controlled, Brother Toner becomes extremely frustrated. The sisters laughed at their brother Jean for being able to scare them like this. Brother Toner blushed and spoke harshly, but he was not afraid. At this time, Annie's eyes suddenly became sharp and she looked at them. I hate lying tongues the most. If you don't tell the truth, you will be pulled out. Hearing Sister Anne's words, Brother Toner was so frightened that he quickly admitted that he was very afraid of Jean. The sister looked at the two useless brothers and said, reluctantly, he said that he would help them both. The two sisters lent them their slaves to put them to good use. Brother Toner was very happy when he heard it. Now you can kill Jean's majesty. The slaves they call are actually the trainees in the ultimate class, their strength. Between 3 and 5 stars, there are freshmen who have just been promoted, as well as old members who have been there for 10 years. Jean's two sisters treated several old trainees as their slaves. The two of them told the Toner brothers. They also disliked Jean, so you took the slaves and trampled Jean under your feet. But if you fail to do this, be prepared to be punished by your sister. Dear brothers, at this time I knew nothing about any of this. I knew I would be in the ultimate class soon. Although Shadow Chi has reached 4 stars now, we must really use Shadow Chi well. You must reach 6 stars in swordsmanship within at least 5 years. After 6 stars you will be an excellent swordsman, and 7 stars can be included. The ranks of masters. Reaching 8 stars is a qualitative leap for masters, and among the 2 billion people in the entire continent, there are less than 100 strong 9-star and 10-star experts. Apart from these people who have transcended the level restrictions, there is only one person in this world, the creation paladin of the demigod realm, my father Shilong Renkaid. And my goal in this life is to surpass my father. But now I am about to go to the ultimate class. Although I have never been there in my previous life, but I knew that once I got there, my older siblings, including the Toner brothers, would immediately start to keep me in check. I decided that after I got to the ultimate class, there is no mercy in my style. It's a world where the strong is supreme, and what I have to do is use my strength to dominate the ultimate class. Only Luncade, only the true king of the family can survive in this ultimate class of the jungle. As the youngest son in the family, how can I become the leader here? Before I entered here, I called the trainees who were about to go to the ultimate class with me. I told them seriously that they will go to the ultimate class tomorrow, where there will be factions, and you all belong to my faction. So it is normal to be bullied and made things difficult for you. Seeing them panicking, I comforted them not to be afraid, because I would not stand idly by. As long as I pacify the entire ultimate class, no one will bully you anymore. But before that, no matter what you do, you have to go together with 3 people. Don't do it alone, got it? They all stood in unison after hearing this. I shouted clearly. They were very convinced of me, because as the young master of the Luncade family, he had previously saved a Guardian Knight trainee regardless of the danger to his own life. Soon, we came to the ultimate class, and the person standing on the stage was my father's brother Jed Runkeld. He is a powerful 8-star knight. He told everyone that 10 freshmen came today, and also warned the freshmen that he was only responsible for teaching swordsmanship. Except for the fact that killing is not allowed, you can handle the rest on your own. After saying this, he suddenly asked the former ultimate class trainee, what has our ultimate class been emphasizing? After hearing this, everyone below shouted in unison. The Luncade family doesn't need weak people. The Runkelds don't need weaklings, and when I heard it, I felt it was really noisy, and the voice was full of malice. The purpose is to give us freshmen a start. I saw the Toner brothers shouting slogans in the crowd, and the guy next to them who looked very fierce had been in the ultimate class for many years. It couldn't have been recruited by them. I thought to myself, this must be Sister XX and Sister Anne. Although they want to extinguish our new energy, but let me tell them, Jean Runkeld don't do that. So I walked towards these old students. The Toner brothers were very panicked at this time. They didn't understand why Jean was walking towards them. Then I also cheered myself up, because they now have the support from their sisters to rely on. When I walked up to them, I pulled it out. My Pluto Divine Sword slashed at their so-called support in full view of everyone. The Toner brothers were stunned, and my uncle looked at this scene in disbelief. Jean actually cut off his arm with a sword, and he knelt in front of me and screamed in pain. I put away my sword and told everyone to call the paramedics. The people around him reacted and suddenly became noisy. Brother Toner asked me why I suddenly attacked people, but I ignored him, looked at the person kneeling in front of me, and asked his name. Brother Toner on the side was very unhappy that I ignored him. Then he raised his sword and said to me, Jean, are you ignoring us? Draw your sword. After hearing this, I turned to look at him coldly and said, my stupid brothers, I am talking to him. What are you interrupting? You must feel that I am always there for you, but please shut up your mouth now. And he was very unhappy that the trainee who beat him dared to be so crazy. After saying that, he quickly covered his mouth the next second. He said the wrong thing, and I grinned after hearing it. My trainee? Is this trainee from your faction? He looked at me with murderous intent. That's why I cut him. Only then did the people around realize that this was not a simple attack, but a ranking battle within the Luncade family. Jade on the side looked at the scene in front of him with a smile. He didn't expect that the Toner brothers who originally planned to suppress me would be defeated by me. Just because of a word from the Toner brothers, this man became a member of their faction. Then me. The behavior is no longer a mere provocation. Instead, start a ranking battle. This is a long-standing and proud tradition of the Runkeld family. This move was really wonderful, and at this moment with everyone watching, I shouted to them. All trainees, please listen to me. My name is John Renkide. You can swing your sword at me, or you can launch a surprise attack on me like you are doing now. But if any of you is hostile to me, even just a little bit, I will chop down at that person without hesitation. It's a dragon coiled in front of me. It's the tiger lying down in front of me. As soon as I finished speaking, a voice came. The 13th son of the head of the John Renkide family. It was the voice of veteran Jade. I'm in the House of Lords. He looked at me at this time. There was murderous intent in his eyes and asked me, do you think you can be so unrestrained in front of me? After hearing this, I told him without any hesitation, yes I can. He asked me why, and I told him, I am not fighting against the Toner brothers. But you, the veteran. After hearing what I said, he drew his sword. Are you fighting me? What fun. Explain it, Jean. After listening to your answer, I'm deciding whether to chop off your head. Only those in the Lunkade family who truly have no fear in their hearts. Only then can he survive the sword of judgment of the 8-star Knight Senator. As the youngest son in the family, I stood in front of him, with no trace of panic in my eyes. I told him calmly, the reason why I fight you is because you are trying to intimidate me. This is. As a senator, you launched an attack on me in another sense. When he heard this, he swung his sword and slashed at me. Facing this majestic sword energy, I didn't blink, because my strong heart didn't have the slightest fear. The sword energy brushed across my cheek, leaving a wound. The elder asked me, is it because this makes you unhappy that you are causing trouble here? Then why don't you swing your sword at me? And I told him, without being humble or arrogant, if I had a chance of winning, even if there was just a tiny bit of chance, I won't go after the Tona brothers, but I will attack you directly. Hearing what I said, the senator once again instilled righteousness into the sword of judgment. He felt that I didn't care about my life. Did he think that he was the son of the head of the family, so he dared to speak so wildly? With everyone watching, I told the elders, if your opponent is stronger than you, just accept it. This is not the style of the Lunkade family. Death is but fleeting. After hearing this, the elders, he actually burst out laughing in front of everyone. He was satisfied with my answer and looked at me and said, Jean, the youngest son of the family, I recognize you. You are qualified to survive in the Lunkade family. Afterwards, he warned everyone, I will keep everything in mind today. Who are the real Lenkolds? All trainees, go fight, go for it, don't lose your nature. After the dissolution, my advice to Brother Toner, although you are more afraid of other brothers and sisters now, what about the future? Don't be so short-sighted. I advise you, take care of yourself. Soon I returned to my place. I told Wet Nurse and Urakai that the ranking battle between Tona brothers and I has officially begun, and behind them are the help of Sister XX and Sister Anne. But what happened today, they suffered a big loss in front of me. If the two sisters knew about it, they would definitely be very angry. The Wet Nurse was very worried about me. She didn't understand why the two ladies were already pioneers, also targeting me. It is an unwritten rule not to fight with trainees. I reassured Dilly because they were restraining me so early. I'm quite happy too. They can only use the power of the Vanguard to interfere with my mission, thus increasing the difficulty of the mission and increasing my chances of death or injury. Most of the difficult tasks are single-player tasks, so when performing the task, I can use all my power without any scruples. Gili is also happy that this is a good opportunity for me. In addition, even if the time comes to go on a mission alone, it will be no problem to bring a cat with you. Looking at Ulakai's arrogant eyes, I told him that I would not take him on missions for the time being, because there were other important things for him to do. I told Rumu and Ulakai not to cause trouble before then. Only the blessed, pure-blood Lunkolds are worthy of surviving the family's secret training. They have strong bodies and keen sense of swords that ordinary people cannot imagine. The family's swordsmanship is even more famous for its domineering and destructive power. Therefore, every Lunkade tribesman can become a kendo king who dominates one side, and they will all undergo a cruel secret training when they are young. A little carelessness can lead to loss of life. As the youngest son in the family, I will conduct this special training together with my Tona brothers today. Brothers Tona were obviously severely punished by Sister Annie because they failed to suppress me last time. The elder smiled and said to us, this so-called special training is just stupidly simple training. He asked each of us to get an iron ball. When I got it in my hand, I feel something inside. Is it an iron block hidden inside? The elders told us that this is a lightweight stone that will make a light sound when struck, and it will only make 3 sounds according to the strength. With that said, the elder began to demonstrate. He hit him with 3 points of force with his sword. On the cool stone, the thumping sound coming from the stone was deafening. Immediately afterwards, the senator asked us to listen to the second sound. This time the sound was not as harsh as the first. It is a crisp and clear sound. The elders tell us that if struck with much force, the cool stone will make a muddy sound. If you use just the right amount of force, it will produce a beautiful sound. This special training requires you to slash at it with your sword whenever you want. Can make the cool stone produce the correct sound. This is a training for strength control, perseverance, and concentration. After listening, I'm a little confused, because if it's this level, without any risk factor, it can't be called the Lunkade family's secret training. At this time, the elders are also. Yu raised his sword and told me there was one last voice. Just as the elder was beheading, I suddenly thought, when I was holding the lightweight stone just now, I noticed that there seemed to be something inside, and I understood it immediately. So I rushed to the confused Toner brothers, shouting at them to get down. Sure enough, the lightweight stone exploded directly during this slashing attack, and the terrifying power swept through the entire training ground. Fortunately, I threw the Tona brothers to the ground in time, and they were not affected. They are still wondering what happened. The voice of the elder came. Jean, I didn't expect you to be very sharp, did you see it? If you slash the lightweight stone too hard, it will explode. After that, he looked at us with an evil smile and started to train. Come on, I will watch you carefully, but don't get killed. The youngest son of this family actually completed the secret training in 5 minutes. Even Luna, the most powerful 9-star knight eldest sister, it originally took 2 days to complete. What I didn't know at this time was that my eldest sister Luna had already begun investigating the people who tried to assassinate me in Stormwind City. Her maid felt that Miss Meow and Miss Anne were the most suspicious, because they had been frequently trying to contain Jean recently, and they had targeted children who had not left Stormwind City. It is a taboo of the Luncade family. Sister Luna felt that if her father in the demigod realm found out about such a risky behavior, he would definitely kill her without mercy. They shouldn't be that stupid. The maid asked her if she was Master Jan. Lie or make a mistake, Jean was only 10 years old at the time. Miss, you have been investigating for 5 years and you have indeed found nothing. But Sister Luna, when she first saw me, I was very wary. That look was not because of embarrassment, but because he felt that his life was threatened. Keep searching, there are no clues at all now. On the contrary, it made me even more uneasy and always had an ominous premonition. I wonder how Jean is doing now. Being hit by a light stone is very painful. The mental eye training I asked him to carry out should be effective by now. Now I am improving my righteousness. This training cannot be done too hastily. Must be calm. In my previous life, even those 2 stupid brothers successfully completed this training, so it is impossible that I cannot complete it. Elder. Looking at us in training, although the Toner brothers performed very well, the little guy Jean was the most powerful. Soon it was evening and today's training was over. The elder asked me to tell my brothers that if they lie down again tomorrow as tired as today, then don't come. After we left, the elder looked at our leaving figures. He was very satisfied with our performance today. Brother Toner also fell much later than he expected, as expected of a child of the Luncade family. However, Jean, the youngest member of the family, became a bit hysterical at this time. He hates me for being a late bloomer. Why is Jean, who is so evil, the youngest son in the family? If Jean had been born 10 years earlier, he would have become a leader of the Luncade family. After speaking, the big shot of the clan sat on the ground in despair, feeling very sad. 1 month later, the first batch of tasks for this year's trainees in the intermediate class have been issued. The instructor assigned tasks to everyone. When the 4th task is assigned, destroy the monster oak. The list of personnel who performed the task made the instructors unbelievable. Surprisingly, it was Meisha and Bellop, the trainees who were promoted to the intermediate class with me, who wanted to destroy a total of 25 oaks. Everyone started talking after hearing this. They actually sent the freshmen to destroy the oaks. Did they want them to die? It would be great if half of these people come back. The trainee whose arm I cut off asked Bellop to quickly write a suicide note before setting off. Some people even asked them to ask for their favor. The young master said that you are so scared. Seeing him mentioning me, Taimont was angry and was about to go forward to argue, but Meisha held him back. Don't cause trouble, we can't defeat them yet, and we're about to go on a mission. It would not be a good thing for us if we get injured now. Taimont was about to retort, but they insulted the young master, and before they could finish their words, Mesa shouted to him to shut up. Have you forgotten? This is the Runcade family. We must perform the assigned tasks, complete the tasks successfully, and return everyone safely. This is our only way to fight back. This youngest son, who was ruthlessly kicked out of the house in his previous life, actually realized the power of the mind's eye in 10 minutes in this life. When my eldest sister Luna trained me, teach me a lesson. That means listening with your ears and cutting with your heart. Now I've seen the doorway and dodged attacks that I couldn't avoid before. At this time, my uncle came here and told Brother Tona and me that the mission assigned to us had arrived. The mission of the Tona brothers turned out to be to attend the banquet of the Bamante Empire. This makes them very bored and repelled. And I was thinking on the side, it was really embarrassing for them, because this is the punishment Sister Anne and the others gave to Brother Toner. He even sent the eloquent Tona brothers to attend social events in the Bement Empire. The elder warned the 2 of them that it would be difficult for the Luncade family to refuse to attend such a banquet. At that time, there will definitely be strong people coming here to have fun. Let them learn more and see more. When seeing the assigned to Jean, during the mission, as a veteran, he was also shocked. It turned out to be an assassination mission, and the target of the assassination was the plaything of the secret palace princess, one of his thousands of lovers. After being informed by the elders, there is a huge tower standing in the center of the western sea of the mainland. The princess of the secret palace is the owner of the giant tower. The 51st princess is the current princess of the labyrinth, Kanan, nicknamed Abyss Spider. If someone attacks his lover, he will definitely come back with merciless revenge. Moreover, the secret palace is an independent force. It is not ruled by the Renkite and Jeeper families. So the elder asked me, Jean, do you know how strong Princess Migong and Migong are, right? Yes, I know. Now your mission target is thousands. Acheron of the Lua family is now in the lawless area of Mammoth, and there are secret palace members accompanying him for protection. I haven't made any statement yet. Brother Tono was shocked when he heard the name of the place. It turned out to be Mammoth. Aren't the missions to places like this assigned to Guardian Knights? At this time, I asked the elder in confusion. The client of this task is the Chiandero family. Do they really want to kill their own family's children? The elder said, yes. The family has failed to recall him many times. In order to protect the family's secrets, killing him may be the best choice. Jean, how about it? Can you complete the mission? At this time there was no hesitation in my eyes. Yes, elder, I can. After the elder heard my answer, incredible to watch. Thinking in his heart, this boy Jean knew the situation of Princess Migong and Mammoth very well, and he agreed without hesitation. As long as Jean says that the task distribution is unreasonable, then he will definitely help Jean to have a few words with the pioneers. Jean, I appreciate your decisiveness. And let all three of us set off in 2 days. At this time, Brother Toner unexpectedly showed concern for me and actually asked Jean to go to Marmite. Then he told me that if I encounter danger, I must reveal my identity and tell them that I am the young master of the Luncade family. This way no one will dare to touch you. I'm also surprised that they worry about me. Brother Tona, who had seen through his thoughts, quickly said that he could not let me die in the hands of others, because sooner or later they will kill me. They were trampled underfoot and ravaged, but I raised my sword and struck the bluestone and told them, my brothers, think about it. They thought Qingling was going to explode and hurriedly hugged each other. But I turned around and continued. In the end, it is better to choose the sisters, or choose me. After that, I walked away without looking back. At this time the elder told Brother Toner, as Jean said, you must be mentally prepared, and do not confront Jeans until you are strong enough, unless you too are tired of living. It wasn't until 2 days later that the Guardian Knight trainees who followed me came to say goodbye to me. They also heard that I was going to the Mammoth area, and he also asked me why I changed the color of my hair. I told them so as not to be discovered by others, that they were members of Lun Kai's family. So I dressed up specially. I looked at them with bad expressions and asked them what happened. It's just a temporary separation. It's not like we'll never see each other again. Although if you are unlucky, someone will die during the mission. But there is no point in worrying. You just need to concentrate on completing the mission at hand, because I will definitely come back alive. I patted Bellop and asked to take care of other people when I went out to perform tasks because Bellop was the strongest among these people. After we parted, Ulakai praised my subordinates for being pretty good, and I asked Ulakai to help me protect them. Ulakai told me not to worry. He is a great black dragon. Seeing my disdainful expression, Ulakai also followed the trainee angrily and left. At the same time, he also told me not to take it lightly just because I was in disguise. After watching Ulakai leave, Gili thought that it would become very quiet during this period, and the young master would also have to go on a mission far away. He was very worried. After all, the target of the assassination is the lover of the secret palace princess. Although the young master is very strong, Mammoth is really a dangerous place. I reassured Gili that I would bring him a souvenir when I come back. Goodbye. Only the truly strong can survive in the crisis-ridden Mammoth area. As the youngest son in the family, I came here alone. It is rumored that people here exude a terrible atmosphere. Let this holy place of outlaws be barren of grass. After I came here, everyone looked at me. Even when I was alive, I thought I was easy to bully. I ignored their cannibalistic looks, popped out a silver coin with my hand, and asked the boss here to give me a glass of water and some simple food. A big man 2 meters tall immediately came up to me and asked me who I was. You are quite good at being cool as a newcomer. People who don't know your aura would think you are a 9-star knight. He even asked me to kneel down and clean his shoes. Looking at his arrogant face, I took out the dagger I carried with me without saying a word and killed him. As he fell to the ground, I asked the boss here, please hurry up and bring me what I want. How long do you want me to wait? Everyone looked at this scene in disbelief. Then he actually cheered and laughed, laughing at the arrogant man who fell to the ground that this day would come sooner or later. Seeing everyone's reaction, I thought about what my teacher in my previous life said. The people gathered here are indeed crazy. The teacher once told me that if you want the lawbreakers here to recognize you, you must show your domineering power and strength. Thinking of my teacher, he has helped me in both past and present lives. I hope that one day I can repay him. Soon, the boss brought me the food and water I asked for and told me that they were not poisoned, so feel free to enjoy them. I smiled and said it doesn't matter, because poisoning is taboo here. This boss knows a lot considering my young age. Are any of your family members local? I told him it had nothing to do with him and gave him a gold coin. After he got it in his hand, he asked me what I wanted. Is it a magic potion? Is there a great new product recently, or are you looking for someone? I told him I was looking for someone, and asked him if there was anyone named Thester here. The boss shook his head and told me definitely no, so I asked my boss to recommend a place to live that was free of snakes, insects, rats, and ants. The boss recommended a place for me to go, which was a hotel called Moonlight Well in the west of the city. That was where the kings of Mammoth lived, so no one will cause trouble there. On the way there, I was thinking about the target of my assassination mission, Akaron Chidro. He is a dandy young master from an earl's family. He has never suffered hardships since he was a child and indulges in pleasure all day long. What I am proud of is that I have a handsome face. There is also a distinguished family lineage, which is a typical example. He is a bully and a scumbag. He is hiding in this dangerous place probably because the secret palace princess is infatuated with someone else. So he wanted to get the princess's attention. Then his destination must also be the Moonlight Well Hotel. As the lover of the secret palace princess, there must be someone protecting him. I decided to observe the situation in the lobby first and then make a plan. What I didn't expect was that I was so lucky. As soon as he arrived at the Moonlight Well, he saw the mission target. He was arguing with his men, asking them to buy him a magic potion. He couldn't live for a second without it. Facing Akalun's humiliation, these people didn't get used to it. They punched him unconscious and complained about how long they had to protect this kind of trash. I don't know why the princess would keep such a home. Looking at the guards carrying Akalun upstairs, they were at least 6-star strong men. Solving Akalun is easier than imagined. The question is, how do I avoid the guards and return home safely? It is Mamet's unwritten rule that no poisoning is allowed. If I use poison, it will definitely cause an uproar here. Moreover, he is now protected by several guards, so he cannot be killed directly. So I decided to use magical thunder summons. When the youngest son of the Renkide family met the youngest daughter of the secret palace, what kind of sparks will there be? If the daughter of the secret palace princess sees my appearance clearly, I will be in trouble. I quickly messed up my hair. Cover your face. Wait for Xia Cheng Luan to leave here. At this moment, the guards who were protecting Akalun at the Moonlight Well came to apologize. Akalun died in the magic attack just now. Silas said it didn't matter, it would be just right if she died. He was originally here to solve their troubles. It's really hard for everyone to protect this idiot. After finishing speaking, Silas walked to the front, raised her sword and said to the people, "Everyone, listen up. From now on, the Moonlight Well Hotel will be controlled by the secret palace. I, Silas Andolma, am the daughter of Princess Talalis of the secret palace, the captain of the 7 swordsmen of the secret palace. Anyone who resists will be considered an enemy of the secret palace." After hearing his words, everyone was in commotion. The people in Moonlight Well let him. Don't be ridiculous, even if you are the princess of the secret palace. So what? This is Mamet. Only the kings of this city have the right to control the hotels. You are overstepping your authority. Besides, our hotel may have been implicated by your secret palace. That's why he suffered this misfortune. Hearing the objection, he did not respond, but stepped forward and cut off the man's arm with his sword. I just said that anyone who resists will be regarded as the enemy of the secret palace. What kind of stupid thing is Mamet's king? You people are everywhere playing the game of pretending to be the king. Don't you take the secret palace seriously? If it is found out that this attack is aimed at the secret palace, we will give it a try when the time comes. Your compensation is enough, but if the magician's target is one of you, and our secret palace is implicated, so what are you going to do? Faced with Silas's sharp question, everyone was speechless, and could only choose to follow the wishes of the secret palace. Silas also turned back to look at them. The reasons for controlling this place were already sufficient, and anyone who spoke falsely would be punished. Some people also agreed, we must rescue this magician and kill him to resolve his hatred. Silas asked her men to find the magician among the survivors, and then he looked at me. Ask me why I am still lingering here. Don't I want you to leave here? Didn't you hear that? I pretended to be scared, and his leg was also injured. After hearing this, he actually laughed and said, I am a big man, but I am so timid. I am obviously a guy who carries a sword with him. The personality is quite cute. After that, he took out a bottle of ointment and asked me to pull up my trouser legs. While applying the ointment on me, he said, I'm so lucky to have survived such an attack. I personally applied medicine to you, which is your honor for generations. I held the wall and said to him, I don't know how to repay you. Kianlis actually laughed after hearing this, and he said, no need for me to repay you. What ability does a guy like you have to repay a big shot like me? Just consider this a good memory for you. In the future, when you occasionally think about it, just bow in the direction of the secret palace. Goodbye, I responded, and said goodbye to him with a smile, and when he goes far away, my eyes immediately became cold and stern. The mission was completed. The youngest son, who was never favored by his family, actually completed the S-class assassination mission in just one day. He also evaded the layers of investigation by the secret palace forces and escaped smoothly. However, what I didn't know at this time was that the trainees who followed me into the intermediate class, they will soon complete their mission of destroying the orcs. This time they want to go back with their limbs intact and slap those who laughed at them in the face. Misa tells them not to take it lightly, as there are still 7 orcs left to complete the mission. These powerful oaks like to move in groups, and in an orderly manner. They didn't know why they only encountered lone oaks, so it was easy to kill them. Meisha was thinking at this time, maybe there are gods protecting them, or Master Jean has been blessed by gods, so they are also blessed by good luck. After cleaning up the battlefield, Mesa, Belop and the others were ready to start the search again. They were very focused and didn't want to embarrass me. At this moment, the head of the black cat emerged from the bushes and murmured, there are 7 left. When these little guys finish hunting, they can go home. It turns out that a few days ago, after Uruk-hai followed them to the oak tribe, he immediately gathered all the nearby oaks together and ordered them to start from today. All orcs must travel alone. If anyone dares to travel together, Uruk-hai will wipe out his entire group. Facing the pressure of the dragon clan, these oaks could only express their obedience to Uruk-hai's orders and then retreated. At this time, Uruk-hai, who was following Mesa, was complaining about Jean. I guess there will always be troubles like this in the future. Is it great that Jean is a Millennium contractor? How dare you use my great black dragon at will? After you go back, you must ask Jean to buy him a new comic book. After all, thanks to my uncle, these little guys successfully completed their mission without any damage. But at this moment, a strong noise came, and the black dragon Uruk-hai instantly became alert. Extremely vigilant, he wondered what was going on with this powerful aura. And the breath is approaching here. He didn't understand where this guy had come from, and he didn't look like he was going to return. Uruk-hai decided to set up a barrier for the little guys here to protect them. Fortunately, they only had 3 stars and would not notice it. If it were Jean, he would definitely discover his barrier immediately. In an instant, the shadow element surrounded the area where Misa and the others were. At this time, Belop noticed that the sky seemed darker than before. Was it going to rain? At this time, Uruk-hai found the source of the breath. After transforming into his true form, he asked, who dared to let go of his breath without his permission? After he looked carefully, only then did I realize that this aura was not a living thing, but a relic from an old era. The cemetery giant black dragon Uruk-hai was very confused because the dragon clan clearly wiped out them all 2,000 years ago. Moreover, the cemetery giant should also be guarding the cemetery of the dead god. How come it appears here? No matter what the reason is, such a reunion made Uruk-hai very unhappy, and he immediately formed a dragon domain, preparing to destroy him in one go. The cemetery giant roared unwillingly. He was about to resist, but Uruk-hai's courageous dragon domain swept across his body in an instant, and then turned into fly ash and disappeared in front of Uruk-hai. Uruk-hai, who returned into a human form, sighed. It may have been too long since he used his power now. I feel pain all over my body. Then I thought that the giant in the cemetery that just appeared could not be the missing dragon. He felt it was related to the Gimple family. What's the conspiracy here? He decided not to tell that kid Jean about this incident. If something happens later, it will be up to him to protect Jean. As long as the little kid Jean is allowed to grow for another 10 years, he will be able to fight against the Jipur family. The next day, the transformed warlock Bubar anxiously reported to Basuka that his artwork cemetery giant had been destroyed. The person named Basuka in front of him is Jinjiro's deputy commander. He said he had heard about it. Bubal was very distressed. He didn't know who could do such an unscrupulous thing as destroying a piece of art. Compare. Shukai told him that this was not the point. He went to the scene to investigate, and it was a dragon that killed the giant in the cemetery, and it was the shadow dragon. Bubal was shocked when he heard it. Did the dragon clan realize their great cause so quickly? Shukai feels that it is not certain yet, but this incident is definitely a warning. He asked Bubal to stay here for the time being, and now he was going to talk to the people of the Yogapur family. This youngest son, who was regarded as useless by his family, he actually practiced swordsmanship to 5 stars in 10 minutes. Having completed the task at this time, I had just returned to my intermediate class. The elder congratulated me on completing the task, and I came back from Mammoth with all 4 limbs intact, and this made the vanguard who assigned me the task miscalculate. Now they must be mad. After the disbandment, I found Belop and Mesa, and they congratulated them on their safe return. At this moment, the trainee whose arm I cut off was gathering a crowd to discuss us. They heard that on the day that Master Jean planned to carry out the assassination mission, a magician happened to attack the hotel where the assassination target was located. Several people sighed. Damn Master Jean, you are so lucky. Not only was he born into the Luncade family, he was also blessed by good luck. Unlike them, no matter how hard they work, they are only intermediate class trainees. They didn't accept me at all and thought I wasn't strong enough. The swordsmanship is only 4 stars, and the people I film are all 3 stars. He asked Kajin if he didn't plan to take action, and Kajin felt. Even if Jean is annoying people, he is still a member of the Renkide family. Before Miss Meow and Miss Anne give instructions, there is nothing we can do. At this moment, I slowly walked towards them, which made them a little panicked. What is going on? Did Jean hear what we said? It can't be possible. We are so far away from him, and I'm sorry, I heard everything you said. I asked Kajin, is your arm okay? He told me unconvinced. Thanks to the young master's quick and clean attack, it was easy for the medical staff to pick it up. I ignored him and asked everyone, you seem to be talking about a very interesting topic. And they said they were right, because lowly people like them can be mean to the noble Renkade family. All the young master does is gossip behind his back. So please forgive me, master. After I heard this, I told them not to ask for my forgiveness. After all, I was not a pioneer. Strictly speaking, I'm not your superior yet. Tarkin thinks I'm being pretentious. After all, Master Jean wants to deal with people like them with just 1 sentence. Not to mention my attitude towards you is very disrespectful. After I said that he was really disgusting, he actually stood up under the surprised eyes of his companions. He looked at me arrogantly. He told me that it was just luck that completed the task and was recognized by everyone. Same, he also hates me. After hearing this, I told him that he had misunderstood. The disgust I said was not because you were sarcastic or rude to me. I gripped the sword of Hades tightly. Looking at him, Kajin Romero, you are a 5-star knight. In the ultimate class, you are considered very strong. In other words, maybe you are better than me. I stood with my sword in hand and asked him, why do you only gossip behind my back? I told you, you can challenge me at any time. Kajin asked me if I was serious. I didn't hesitate at all. Tell him, yes. Draw your sword. There is no need to let me. You can fight me with all your strength. Kajin's eyes suddenly became fierce. In this way, he can use his righteousness to his heart's content. Only the truly strong can face the provocation of the ultimate leader without fear. As the youngest son in the family, how can I fight with him? Kajin repeatedly confirmed that it can be 4. After using righteousness without fear, he also drew the sword from his waist, trying to make me regret what I just said. Then he struck at me with his sword. After I caught it, I felt that his attack was indeed very powerful. But he is nothing compared to the enemies I will face in the future. At this time, Kajin, who had been suppressed for a long time, was released. He raised his sword again and concentrated his mindfulness to slash at me. He also said loudly that I was no match for him. I took his full blow again, and his sword moves changed quickly. But in this battle, I suddenly realized that I saw it, just like the day when the Toner brothers exploded the cooling stone, and I was hit by an iron block. I can also see Kajin's attack trajectory. Although the sword can be swung in countless directions, it is a 5-star sword. There are not many sword moves that knights can use flexibly. At this time, I calmly demolished every move he made, not to mention that Kajin was already angry with me at this time. I'll end the fight within the next 3 turns. I told Kajin that I have seen through all your moves, so you can't defeat me. But he didn't believe it at all, and even shouted that I, a young master, would never shed tears before seeing the coffin. Then he rushed towards me again, and before attacking me, I shouted loudly what move he was going to make. The first move is a left slash, followed by an irregular upward thrust. But the last resort, the power of his move was irresistible to the 4-star knight. But I directly understood the trajectory of his attack, and knocked his sword away with one strike. At this time, Kajin collapsed on the ground, unable to believe the ending. Moreover, his attack just now clearly hit Jean immediately, and I pointed the sword at him, interrupting his thoughts. Originally, I thought it would take a few years before my swordsmanship reached 5 stars. After Kajin knew my strength, he lowered his head and felt that he had been cheated. Master Jean's swordsmanship has reached 5 stars. I told him that I didn't need to lie to anyone, it's just that you didn't understand me. I never fight a battle without certainty. At this time, the Toner brothers came in a hurry. Asked what happened, but when they saw the scene in front of them, they were also shocked. What happened? Did Jean defeat Kajin? And I passed them by, telling them not to be alarmed. Monster. Then I slowly left under the surprised eyes of the 2 brothers. When Miss Meow and Miss Anne learned the news, they suspected that Kajin had taken Jean's money and lost to him on purpose. After all, Jean is only 15 years old. His swordsmanship has already reached 5 stars. Kajin told him that everyone saw that Jean's righteousness indeed exceeded 5 stars. After Kajin left, Sister Anne asked a certain sister, is Jun officially showing his fangs to us? A certain sister said, this is not just for us, but to everyone in the family. Then, when assigning the next task to Jean, we must also arrange our people into it. We must make sure there is no return for him. Only the strongest member of the Luncade family who has experienced countless hardships can sit firmly on the throne of the head of the family. As the youngest son of the family, I became a 5-star knight at the age of 15, which made me a candidate for the next generation of family head. The wet nurse told me this news, which caused a sensation throughout the sword courtyard. After all, throughout the history of the Luncade family, there were only 3 people who became 5-star knights at the age of 15, the first generation head of the family, his father, and sister Luna. Now I have reached 5 stars in swordsmanship, 4 stars in magic, and 4 stars in shadow energy. Reaching the 5-star swordsmanship level so quickly was beyond my expectation. Because I just kept training on cutting lightweight rocks, my swordsmanship reached 5 stars without even realizing it. The magic and righteousness of the shadow energy I possess. The 3 forces should influence each other. As long as one of them becomes stronger, it will be beneficial to the improvement of the other 2. And after experiencing the rampage of shadow energy last time, I feel that my body can hold more righteousness and magic. It can be seen that these 3 forces are closely related, but since I am the only one who possesses all 3 powers, their connection is unknown. It was then that I noticed the flowers in the yard. I asked the wet nurse Dilly if he picked it. He told me that these flowers had appeared in the room during my absence, and he put them up, and asked me if I wanted to throw them away. I told the wet nurse no need because the flower didn't give off a magical scent. It's not like a curse, just leave it alone. First, now that I have become a 5-star knight, my brothers and sisters should be really nervous, right? This also includes Joshua's brother, Joshua Runkeld, who is designated as the next head of the family. After Cade gave up the fight for the position of the head of the family in the first Pioneer Road round, as the second Vanguard, he is the most likely person to become the next head of the family. And with the full support of his mother, Rosa Runkeld, his position is now very secure. Although it is a good choice to hide one's capabilities and bide one's time and accumulate more, I feel that there are more benefits to be gained by revealing my true strength. Therefore, the news about me will soon spread to the outside world, and my news will be published in newspapers and magazines around the world. Ulakai told me not to brag, but I also agree with my approach, which can really make my brothers and sisters calm down. More importantly, in this way, the father will come to see the garden in person. He had been hoping for a successor to replace Joshua. Except Sister Luna, the father never affirmed his other children. But Sister Luna, the only one who received her father's attention, had no interest in being the head of the family. Therefore, her father believed that she was not suitable to be the leader of the family. Since then, Joshua has been first in line to succeed. In addition, the tentative heirs are Dips, Lentia, and Mary. The original order of family heirs should not be changed again. But my appearance broke this solid pattern. I'm in junior. When I was at work, I received tasks assigned by my father. He is a person who only looks at strength and not age, so he will definitely give me instructions again. Although I don't know what kind of instructions he will give, but there are two things I can be sure of. First, he will test me. I am much younger than my brothers and sisters who are candidates for heir. He will test whether I can overcome the age difference. Secondly, he will protect me. He does not want me to die in the hands of my brothers and sisters before I accept the test. Because I am very special to my father. Only the Lunkade people who are truly calm can survive the layers of calculations by family members. As the youngest son of a famous swordsman family, I showed my talents, but I was rejected by my other brothers. Because of my sister's jealousy, she became a 5-star knight at the age of 15. The news was published in newspapers and magazines, and families and various groups from all over the world came to visit. I know my father will definitely come. There will definitely be a banquet then. I told Gili to be prepared, especially to keep an eye on Ulakai. If he secretly transformed into a human and sneaked into the party, then we're screwed. When Wulakai was still dissatisfied with me, Gili had already expressed that he would definitely take good care of Wulakai. After waiting for a few days, Gili told me that the housekeeper had been very busy recently responding to official letters. Even the royal family of Baimont had sent official letters. Imperial family caught my attention. Didn't expect these mystics too. Curiosity aroused, and he tried his best to bring me the most important news. That is the head of the family. My father asked Khan to inform me that he will visit the family in person in a month. When I heard the news, closing the book with a snap. During this time, my brothers and sisters felt more at ease because everyone was paying attention to me. If my brothers and sisters take action against me now, it's like telling other people that they're afraid of me or hate me, and it's about their reputation. At this moment, the butler, Pietro, suddenly pushed the door open in a panic. He shouted to me loudly, "Something is going wrong, master. You have been assigned a task, and the task is to be carried out at the Cologne ruins." At this time, in the meeting hall of the sword courtyard, my mother was angrily scolding my brother. My brothers and sisters asked them how these pioneers did things. He was so angry that he sent John to Jeeper's territory. While he was scolding Meow and Annie, I slowly opened the door and came here. My mother suppressed her anger and said, "Jean, you're here." I glanced around at these unaffectionate faces and told my mother calmly, "Yes, I'm here." Those present were Lentia Lunkide, the 3rd pioneer of the family, Lan Lunkide, the 5th pioneer of the family, Wigu Renkide, the 6th pioneer of the family. Mother asked me if I knew that your next mission would be the Cologne ruins. I said I had heard about it. Then my mother gave the order to cancel the mission, and there was no need to go to the mission execution area. This made Sister Exek and Sister Anne unhappy. Asked my mother how could this be done. My mother got angry again and told them to shut up, accusing them of only wanting to kill Jean. But Sister Meow asked her mother unconvinced, "Isn't it strange that we want Jean dead?" Anne also echoed at this time, and I really don't understand why my mother insists on protecting Jean. For the fight between our brothers and sisters, mother and father have always encouraged us to fight more fiercely with tacit approval. It is precisely because our family needs fierce competition, isn't it? Mother should know how everyone here has been suppressed and calculated since childhood, and also when we were in the intermediate class, brothers and sisters too, given many difficult tasks. Mother heard Annie and Meow's rebuttal, closed her eyes and told them that they were right. It is true that competition is allowed in the family, and by any means necessary. But did your strength reach 5 stars when you were 15? When Annie and Meow heard this, they were stunned on the spot. I don't know what I'm talking about. Mother told them that Jean is different from you. If you had his strength when you were young, maybe I will protect you at that time. In other words, you two have no value to be protected. You who have now become pioneers, but it's still so useless. What's the use of having the family's protection? Later, the mother issued punishments to everyone because such a thing happened. Others who are also pioneers also have a responsibility. Lentia went back to reflect, and Lan and Wigu punished Zhao Huan with a famous sword. Just when they were about to retort, the mother did not give them a chance to open their mouths, but told them that they originally wanted to confiscate all the famous swords they took away, but now, they are just letting one be returned. Then, my mother focused her eyes on me who said nothing. My mother didn't know how I would react, so she angered 3 unrelated people. Will Jean hypocritically allow himself to punish him too, or will you be proud of your own partiality? The mother decided to see how her younger son would react to the situation. But what my mother didn't expect was that I actually told him that I really liked the tasks assigned to me by my sisters. My mother stood up in disbelief and asked me, "Don't you know that Cologne is just one? What kind of place?" I said of course I knew that. It was the territory of the Japur family. Our family tried to occupy it but ultimately failed. There was no hesitation or hypocrisy in my eyes at this time. Tell your mother firmly. Although it is dangerous there, I will not back down. Only the Runkles are truly fearless. Only then can he survive the various difficulties faced by his family members. As the youngest son in the family, I resolutely accepted a mission that was like losing my life. That is to head to the ruins of Cologne, an area ruled by the Gieper family. I said that my sisters must believe that I have this ability. That's why I was sent to complete such a difficult task. After my mother heard what I said, she glared at me to see if I was trying. Powerful? Do you really not know how difficult this task is? And I said neither. The mission arrangements of the Lunkade family cannot be changed at will. Otherwise, the family members will say that our system is not rigorous. After hearing this, my mother still advised me, no one dares to question Lunkade, not to mention that your sister just wants you to die. They can't kill you directly. Therefore, they use the power of the vanguard to achieve their goals in task allocation. After I heard what my mother said, I firmly told her, although my sisters and I are undoubtedly defeated by the cliff now, as long as I successfully complete the task, I will win against them. So I think, in this fight with his sisters, he has a chance of winning. When my mother heard what I said, she no longer stopped me and told me, cloning sites is very dangerous. A little carelessness can lead to loss of life, so I should be more careful. At this time, I made a small request to my mother, that is, if I successfully completed the mission and came back alive, then the swords that my brothers were punished with and returned will belong to me. After all, even you think this mission is extremely dangerous, so it's normal for me to want some extra rewards. The mother did not speak after hearing this. My two brothers didn't understand what I wanted their swords for, and even asked me to give up on this dangerous mission. You can choose any sword they have and give it to me. After all, you have to live until your father comes. When I heard it, I thought it was strange and ridiculous. Because if they think it's important, assign me among the sisters. Why not stop it during the mission? Mother interrupted our quarrel, granted my request, and let us all out. After everyone left, the mother was a little worried. She was afraid that her youngest son Jean would become like his eldest sister Luna. So he deliberately trampled on the self-esteem of his brothers and sisters in front of him. Seeing his younger son's behavior, he felt that he was worrying too much. When Shilong comes back, he will be very happy to see Jean at this time, having such a strong little son. After walking out of the door, Sister Annie teased me. Do you think you will be so lucky this time? But I ignored them, smiled and prepared to leave. Sister Anne asked me not to be so calm. After all, this is not a solo mission, and you won't be alone on the road. I turned my head and looked. They thanked Sister Anne for taking care of me, and said goodbye meaningfully. It was not until the day the mission was carried out that I discovered that the teammates who went with me to Cologne for the mission were all from Sister Anne and the others. They changed their usual arrogant and disdainful faces and expressed that they were honored to perform the mission with me. They also introduced themselves enthusiastically. He even apologized for his previous disrespectful behavior towards me. Even Kajin, whose arm I cut off, said that he would never let me down from today on, and I told them that it didn't matter, let them let the past go, and we had to help each other on this mission. But at this moment I was thinking, I'm so lucky, I'm full of lies. We're going to a very dangerous place, these people. Most likely they want to take this opportunity to get rid of me. This youngest son, who was kicked out of the family due to incompetence in his previous life, not only became a contractor of God in this life, but was also protected by a black dragon from the dragon clan comparable to the Nine Tails. He has a good hand in this life, and now he and his family's trainees went to the ruins of Cologne, the territory of the Gipur family, to perform a mission. This time the mission is a robbery mission, and there are 4 relics to be robbed. The Cologne ruins were originally a tribe with tens of thousands of indigenous people, but it is now the domain of the Gipur family and is included in the kingdom of Paran. Hundreds of years ago, it was the Gipur family who discovered this place. They killed most of the natives, and those who survived became Jeeps, a slave of the family. Now Gipur claims to respect the indigenous people of Cologne, but that's just for outsiders to hear. In fact, those indigenous people are still treated as slaves, and no one pays attention to the lives and rights of the indigenous people in Cologne, so their situation will not improve. These people who became slaves were just asked by the Gieper family to help manage Cologne. At the same time, in order to cover up the crimes they had committed against the Aboriginal people in the past, the Jaipur family, as a big family that shares the world equally with Lunchade, he has always paid attention to his family's reputation. But this time, Jaipur lost his sense of proportion, all in order to obtain a handicraft that resembles a mirror hidden by the Aboriginal people. Although the mirror is now, the existence remains a top secret in the Jaipur family. But before I was reborn, some brave reporter revealed all the truth. That was a series of atrocities committed by the Jaipur family, all in search of a relic. And, according to the Aboriginals, that relic is called the Fountain of Magic. Everyone is wondering what this relic does, that is, just staring at him. The magic power can be raised to 7 stars. The Gimple family used it to create an army of magicians, but in the previous life, The Gimple family only started to produce mass-produced magicians 10 years later, which means that they have not found the magic spring yet. At this time, I decided that in this life, I would never let him fall into the hands of the Jipor family. My team members and I lurked here to gather information. After recording, we learned that, apart from the dormitory where the Jipor family is stationed, the relics we are looking for are in warehouse number 3. Although raiding is easy, but the Jipor family must have set up warning magic. At this time, Kajin said righteously, "Master, please don't worry. No matter what happens, they will all risk their lives to protect me." I almost believed it after hearing it, and politely said thank you to him. So I considered the safety issue on the way back to the city. Everyone needed to replenish their physical strength, so they were asked to rest for an hour before launching a raid. I took out a pack of spicy strips, share it with everyone, and let everyone eat one. After watching a few of them finish eating, I let them stay here for the time being. Sleep for a while, I'll leave for a moment and be back soon. They didn't understand why I did this, but several of them suddenly stumbled to the ground and asked me in panic, "Has the young master been poisoned?" I reassured them, but I just added some sleeping pills. Looking at the few people who were still saying, "Young master cannot act alone," I taunted them to tell me blatantly, "Are you here to kill me? If you act as arrogant as before, on the contrary, I will not guard against you." However, it is natural for dogs to obey their master's orders. Only the blood of the pure-blooded Lunkade people, only then can the magic circle that has been dormant for thousands of years be awakened. As the youngest son of the family, I came to the warehouse number 3 of the Jipur family alone. There are guards here. Handle. They feel there is no need to handle it. After all, who dares to provoke the Jipur family? But what they didn't expect was that the next second I appeared and killed one person instantly. The surviving person was still yelling about someone who had eaten the heart of a bear and the guts of a leopard. "How dare you set foot in the situation of the Jipur family?" I stared hard at him and told him my name. My name was Jalen Cade. After saying that, he stepped forward and took his life. Unexpectedly, there were only 2 guards guarding such an important place. I noticed that the warehouse door only had an ordinary lock, and there is no fluctuation of warning magic, which shows that the Jipur family does not think this place is very important. After slowly opening the door, what caught my eyes was the blood warning magic circle. People thought it was a warning magic used to detect bloodlines, but in fact it was actually people or monsters that were being detected. If the visitor is a human, he will test whether he is infected with the disease. In other words, any normal person's blood can pass the test of the magic circle. Then, in order not to leave any evidence, I took the blood of the fallen guard and sprinkled it on the blood magic circle. The next second, the magic circle emitted red light. When I saw this scene, I understood that the first warning spell had been broken. Now I'm going to start looking for the relics. But what I didn't expect is, something happened. The peaceful magic circle just now suddenly had an energy riot. I don't know why this happened, Ming. The blood of the guard was used. Why was the blood warning magic circle activated? Maybe the owner of the blood was infected with some disease. Either that, or he is not a human being and does not allow me to think about it. The guard I knocked down just now came back to life, and his appearance changed dramatically. I hurriedly stepped back. What kind of monster was this? I released the wind magic, Silent Wind, which limited the monster's attacks. Originally, I didn't want to use magic to avoid being noticed by the magic fluctuations here, but now I don't care so much, because I can't help but have to fight with them at this time. I pulled out the short blade behind me and hit the attacking monster hard. The pain-stricken monster was about to fight back. While dodging, I pulled out the gun from my waist. Sword of Hades, these 2 monsters are extremely difficult to deal with, but when they saw the 5-star righteousness I displayed, they stopped the team's attack on the spot. I understand that these 2 monsters know that righteousness is a dangerous force. However, this monster has strong regeneration ability, and the wound just healed itself in an instant. Only high-level monsters have such powerful regeneration capabilities. But these 2 guys are not monsters, they were just humans a minute ago. This is the territory of the Jipur family, and countless magicians are stationed here. There are also those persecuted indigenous people and unknown monsters. I immediately thought, could they be living golems? Creating a living golem is a recognized special crime. Unless Jeep, the Cool family used the Cologne ruins as a laboratory to study forbidden magic. No time to think about it. This living golem attacks me again. After receiving the attack, I also figured out their speed and strength, which were equivalent to those of early 4-star warriors. But they don't seem to have much intelligence, so it's not difficult to deal with them. If you want to completely defeat the living golem, you only need to crush its core. It will make him lose the ability to fight, and the core is usually in 3 places in their body. After deciding on my strategy, I decided to attack the golem's head first. But after I hit him, I found that his strength and speed were even more violent than before. Since the core is not in the head, then it must be in his elixir. Because they are different from ordinary golems, they are created through forbidden magic and only the Dantian can store their cores. I burst out my righteous energy in his body, and the next second, an artificial core fell out of the golem's body and landed on the ground. I thrust my sword into this core. At this time, I was very angry because the hateful Jeeper family actually used people as experimental subjects. I turned to look at another monster, used the same method to remove his core. After solving these two monsters, I was glad that I didn't use high-level magic. The magic fluctuation produced is not too big, but these poor people were made into living golems. No one would voluntarily become such a monster. Because once you transform, there will be no tomorrow. It will become a consumable product. How dare the Gipor family do such an unscrupulous thing? I will never forgive them lightly for what they did today. When light magic and dark power are controlled by a young man at the same time, what kind of existence will be created by the collision of light and shadow? As a boy from a well-known swordsman family, is it too much to take out a Rasengan? And now I knew that the abominable Japur family actually experimented on living people. I also suspect that my sisters knew what was going on here, so they asked me to come here on a mission. But this time their wishful thinking came to nothing. The mission never ends. Even if I make the situation here public, the Jeepor family will definitely not admit it, but making a living golem is. As long as there are some clues about special crimes, the Empire will definitely launch an investigation. So I decided to take the evidence first, and continue to complete my task. If the Jeeper family is investigated, they will definitely deny it to the end because of their power. This is not a problem that I can solve now. I don't have that ability yet. Since there was such a big movement just now, no one has come to check on the situation, which shows that they think this is just an ordinary warehouse. If they knew that the guards guarding this place were living golems, they wouldn't be so careless. In other words, not everyone is related to this forbidden magic research. I found that the Shi family's warning magic on the stone slab was very simple, but the one on the vessel was very complicated. Originally, I thought it would take a lot of effort to break the warning spell. But now that the fire golem has been destroyed by me, no matter what I do here, the Jeeper family can only quietly deal with the aftermath. Won't make a big deal out of things. So, I condensed the magic power in the palm of my hand. The wind element plus the fire element will increase the power of my magic. With my current 4-star magic power and 4-star hidden energy, I can achieve at least 6-star destructive power. I don't have to be timid at this time. The magic flame burst was released, and a majestic magic wave swept through the place in an instant, as if lighting up the entire Cologne ruins. However, what I didn't know was that a few days later, my sisters Anne and X fell to the ground and were being scolded, and the person who repaired them was my eldest sister Luna. She was very angry because Jean was 10 years younger than them. Why was he doing this? To him, the eldest sister Luna asked them to give a reasonable explanation. Could it be that the two people who are the vanguard of the Luncade family started a ranking battle with Jean from the ultimate class? According to the rules of ranked battles, the vanguard can only compete with the vanguard. Non-pioneers can only compete with non-pioneers. This is an unwritten rule. The two were speechless after hearing this. Sister Luna said, their behavior was so shameless that even she couldn't hold her head high because they were the pioneers of the Luncade family. Sister Anne retorted loudly at this time. As their eldest sister, she never cares about the situation in the ranking battle. What qualifications do she have to care about this? At this time, Sister Luna said, if you attack Jean and you win, you won't say anything. But now, Jean has successfully completed the task of cloning the ruins. Now he has finished reporting the situation to his mother. So you know why I said just now that I can't hold my head up because of you, right? 只有真正冲入不惊的轮开得族人，才能在家族的勾心斗角中存活下来。As the youngest son of a famous swordsman family, I completed the life-death mission assigned to me by my sister alone. My 9-star strong sister warned them that Jean is not a soft-hearted person, and asked them to be more careful in the future. After all, he said this because he was worried about them. Although I don't know when each of them embarked on different paths, but after all, she is still her sister. Luna returned to the room and was thinking about things when her maid walked by carrying tea. The maid felt that with Master Jean's character, I will definitely not let these two ladies go in the future, and they are no match for Jean. As long as it takes another 5 years, even if the duel officially takes place, they couldn't beat Master Jean either. Then don't poor Annie and Meow only have 5 years to live? After Luna heard this, she asked the maid not to say such terrible things again. After all, they are all siblings. After finishing speaking, he asked about the matter he asked the maid to investigate last time. Were they the two who assassinated Jean? I learned from the maid that the suspicion of murdering Anne had been ruled out because they were in the intermediate class at that time and had no hidden secrets at all. Moreover, the person who assassinated Jean could not be Mary, let alone the Toner brothers. Luna guessed. The only remaining suspects are Joshua and Master Dips. There are also Masters Lan, Wei Gu, and Miss Rendia. However, we cannot easily investigate these people, because except for Lan and Wei Gu, the remaining 3 people have very stable positions in the family. If you investigate secretly, you may be able to alert the snake. It's better to stop with stillness. Investigating based on suspicion alone would put the maid in trouble. This made the maid feel that Luna finally made the right choice. After all, caring leads to chaos. Although some people want to assassinate Jean, he is now safe and sound, and his strength is improving quickly. So don't worry too much. At this time, I also returned to my room and loudly told Gili and Ulakai that I was back. Looking at Gili's relieved expression, I knew he had been worried about me. After all, Gili knows how dangerous the cloning site is. If Jin encounters an accident, he will avenge his young master even if he risks his life. I told Gili to rest assured, after all, I am very strong. It will even take a while to surpass him as a 7-star warrior. Ulikai also came to me at this time and asked me if the mission report was completed. I told him that it was natural. Everyone thought that I could only successfully complete the task with foreign help. But it doesn't matter to me what others say. Now I want to show Gili and Urukai something, and that is the heart of the living golem. Urukai looked at the core in the bottle carefully. He immediately concluded that the golem was a failure. Otherwise, I would not have come back alive from the ruins of Cologne. When Urukai learned that the golem that attacked me had powerful regenerative abilities, and when there are two ends, I can't help but be shocked. Because last time Urukai discovered the cemetery giant, this time Jean encountered the living golem again. What the hell is this Jeeper family doing? After all, Cologne is their family's territory, so this must be their masterpiece. So Urukai decided that I must go to Cologne with him later. Ulikai wanted to ask them personally to find out what they were doing. Although I was a bit uneasy about going to Cologne again, if Urukai was traveling with me, I had nothing to worry about. If everything goes well, maybe I can take the opportunity to find the magic one. Anyway, no matter how much trouble Ulikai and I cause, the Gapur family will suppress it. In this way, Ulikai and I agreed on a time. After my mission ended, the trainees who performed the mission with me were expelled from the family by Anne. I no longer have to train with the Tona brothers on how to slash lightweight stones. Even the morning training with the trainees, my uncle also told me that there was no need to participate. And next week, the head of the family gave me other instructions, which shocked Brother Toner. Is his father going to appoint Jean as a quasi-pioneer so soon? And before you can truly become a pioneer, you have to leave your family to gain experience, accumulate reputation, and cannot rely on any funds from the family. I was very happy when I heard the news, because in this case, I can use all my power without any scruples. Only a king who truly stands on top of the world is worthy of becoming the head of the Lunkade family. And my demigod father, Jade Runkeld, is the only creation paladin in the world, the strongest being on the continent, and the head of the contemporary Runkeld family. As his youngest son, I must become an existence that surpasses him in this life. Now that I have completed difficult tasks twice in a row, caught his father's attention. He lamented that his youngest son was able to hinder his training twice. The first time in Stormwind City, this time it's in the courtyard of Swords. I've watched Jean since he was little. I saw his ambition, no matter how well disguised it was. The sharpness in a person's eyes cannot be concealed. Moreover, when he came out of the sword garden facing the provocation from his brothers and sisters, Jean was not timid at all. Respond calmly. It can be seen from this that Jean naturally knows how to defeat his enemies. So his brothers and sisters started to keep him in check. He even wanted to kill Jean, but Jean returned safely every time, and his strength improved, reaching 5 stars in swordsmanship. What made his father even more incredible was not the task of Mehmet and the cloning site, but the task assigned by him personally. Jean fought against the White Wolf warriors alone, but he actually won. Originally, the head of the family wanted him to be his subordinate, as a human shield, then deal with the White Wolf clan. Unexpectedly, he was able to do it alone, and he proved the value of his beliefs. When Khan asked the head of the family, did he really believe that Jean could do it alone, the father answered affirmatively. Yes, but strictly speaking, not alone either. When I met with Jean, I asked him personally about the situation at that time. One day later, my father came to our house. All members are ready to welcome the return of the family leader. My mother blamed my father a little, and finally came to our home. And the father said, the children are grown up and can take care of themselves, so they don't have to worry about this. But his father's tone suddenly became sharp. If he really behaved well, then yourself. There is no need to leave the Black Sea, because the guests who come today will only look at themselves and act, and will not really respect his children. So he needs to be in charge personally. At this moment, my father noticed the 2 swords on my waist and immediately asked Lon and Wigu, did the famous sword he asked the 2 brothers to take away be given to Jean? The brothers explained embarrassedly, it was taken away by Jean. It was agreed that if John successfully completed the mission of Cologne's ruins, the sword would belong to him. My father actually laughed after hearing this. Then he put his hand on Lan's shoulder and asked them to find a way to get it back next time. Jean was so cunning that his father even doubted whether he was his biological son. Before the party begins, my father summoned me alone and asked me if it was my first time attending a banquet. At this time, I was filled with emotions. In my previous life, with my low strength, I was a disgrace to my family and was not worthy of attending such a feast. I could only hide in the dark like a sinner. But in this life, I am actually the protagonist together with my father, attending this banquet dressed up. Only the descendants of Lunkade who truly achieve supreme glory, only then can he dress up as the protagonist and attend a banquet of thousands of people. As the youngest son of a famous swordsman, he practiced swordsmanship to 5 stars at the age of 15. All the famous families sent people to congratulate him. My father told me that the Runkelds rarely held banquets, unless there was something very worthy of celebration. Consolidated. He praised my achievement this time, which was very remarkable. I thanked my father for the praise quietly. My father patted my shoulder happily, asked me if I know how many people came today. I would conservatively estimate that there were at least 1,000 people. My father said that my guess was correct. It was exactly this number that the housekeeper reported, and there were 200 more people than at the banquet 7 years ago. My father asked me if I knew what that meant, and I said of course I did. This shows that our family's status is more prominent than it was 7 years ago. Although other families have held banquets for thousands of people, the thousands of people present today are not celebrities. He is the leader of a family or group. My father told me that he had been with Nakyong in the Black Sea for 7 years. The powerful monster king fighting training. Even so, the reputation of the Lunchade family continues to rise. This is all because he is the only creation paladin. But if he waits until the day he is gone, everyone present may turn against the Lunchade family. My father was right. Without his strong personal strength, the family would not be what it is today. Although the Lunchade family and the Gipor family are two major families, but after his father is gone, the overall strength will be far lower than that of the Gipor family. Thinking of this, I clenched my fists tightly. After making up his mind, he told his father, if one day he is gone, these people will turn against the Lunchade family, and our family will also turn against each other. If I am suppressed by Gipor and become irreversible, I will definitely leave the family. When my father heard this, he pretended to be angry and asked me why. I explained to him that it was because Dandan's father was gone and the family collapsed. It would only mean that the next head of the family was incompetent, and it was impossible for me to be killed by such a head of the family. After explaining the reasons, I asked my father, how much control does the family have about these people? Just now, I returned the sword I snatched to my brother. The condition was to read confidential documents that only the pioneers could see and learned some secrets from them. Some families have entrusted us to do a lot of evil things. For example, assassinating members of a rival family or not paying back commission fees. I told my father that I only had a rough look, just palm it. With so many weapons other than swords in hand, there must be more weapons that can be used for the secrets that only father and mother can check. My father also understood what I meant. Even if he is gone, as long as he makes good use of these handles, he can protect the family. I told him, that's right, if the head of the family doesn't have the strength of his father's holy knights and wants to lead the family forward, he must use these as weapons other than swords. My father said that what I said was correct, but the Gipor family also had these people's leverage. I smiled and told my father, the Gimples have no reason to blackmail these people, because the image of the villain belongs to Lenkide, not the Gimples. All in all, if the next head of the family cannot make full use of it, if I have these weapons, then I will definitely leave the family, and then prepare to take revenge on the Gipor family, even if it takes a long time. After hearing this, my father laughed and thought what I said was right. Only by living can we take revenge on our enemies. Then he looked at me furtively. His other children would never dare to tell him the hypothesis of the decline of the Lenkade family like this. He only talks nonsense and complains. But his youngest son Jean actually expressed his thoughts to him frankly. But it is a pity that his youngest son was born in his later years. He has Luna's talent, Mary's ambition, and Dip's fighting spirit. The Lenkade family themselves can only protect it for 15 years at most. Let's see if Jean can change the line of succession. Subsequently, my father told me that the guests were almost here and it was time for us to appear. Before leaving, my father told me to talk to me alone after the banquet. Let me wait for his summons. I know that this is the qualification that my father wants to give me as a quasi-pioneer. That is to say, after the banquet, I will be away from the family for a while. At this moment, the housekeeper Pietro ran over in a panic and shouted, "Something is wrong," and then told his father. Several uninvited guests arrived. When my father heard this, he felt incredible. Who dares to break into a banquet where he is in charge? Could it be that he is from the Gipor family? Only the truly proud sons of the Lunchade family deserve to be at the banquet. Thousands of people watched the ceremony at the meeting. Before the banquet started, several uninvited guests arrived. When my father found out, he felt incredible. Who dared to barge into a banquet where he was in charge? Could it be that he is from the Gipor family? The housekeeper told his father that, yes, they had a total of 5 people coming. They were Andre Gipple, the head of his father's family, and 4 members of the Gipple family. When his father found out, he felt that they were really arrogant, so he issued an order to get Andre Gipre out of the house immediately. The rest of the Gipper family can come in, and the butler Pietro is not allowed to come forward in person, and he can just ask a servant to inform them. After hearing my father's order, I coughed twice. Although Andre Gipper's unannounced visit was indeed rude. But no matter what, he was also the deputy head of the Gipper family, but his father actually rejected him and even humiliated him. Hear my voice. My father turned around and asked me if I thought what he did was too much, but I said it was not too much, and it was very enjoyable. Because of his father's order, let the rest of the Gipper family come in. If Andre Gipper left with his family because of his inner displeasure, it would be disobeying the order of the head of the Reincarnation family. This is something that is never allowed to happen in the sword courtyard. My father also told me, yes, if the deputy head of the family doesn't do what he says, then he would lose his legs and crawl back to his Gipper family. After the incident came to an end, my father took me into the banquet and to the high platform of the banquet. In an instant, the originally lively banquet suddenly became quiet, and everyone began to wait for their father's speech. Father's deep voice echoed throughout the banquet hall. He told everyone that he was very lucky to have such a wonderful little son born in his later years. First of all, I would like to thank my youngest son, Jean Runkeld, can make myself so happy. At this time, I bowed gracefully to everyone. Father told everyone that at the Lunchade family's banquet, just follow 2 rules. If someone gets into a fight while drunk, they will be sent to the duel by the guardian knight, and the loser must obey the winner. But the winner should not make it too difficult for the loser. After all, this is just a banquet. When I heard my father's words, I also understood that this was a banquet for enemies. After all, the people who appear here today are all powerful figures, and the grievances and hatreds between them are complicated. If it is an ordinary banquet, they will give up after comparing their momentum. But this is the sword courtyard of the Lunchade family. As long as you follow the 2 rules that your father said, even if they can't kill their enemies, they can still beat them up, and they can also tell the difference in front of everyone's witness. As my father said, the party begins. The crowd cheered. At this time, I couldn't help but sigh. My family is really a crazy family. Father suddenly asked me to go down too. I can't help but feel a little confused. He told me that if there is a guy you like, drag him away, but you can't pick anyone weaker than you, unless that man insulted you in Lunchade. I obeyed his orders and promised that I would never lose in a duel. Before leaving, my father warned me that if I lose, he will take away everything I have, including the Pluto sword and the wet nurse. Looking at his back as he left, this was the first time I had chatted with my father like this. In my previous life, I didn't even dare to dream of something, and the way they were chatting just now was like an ordinary father and son. But the goals I want to achieve in this life do not include being loved by my father and being a lovable son. The most important thing for me in this life is to surpass him. When I am the youngest son of the Lunchade family, I meet the youngest daughter of the secret palace at a banquet. What kind of sparks will it cause? My 9-star strong sister turns out to be. Don't let him talk to me. Just now, I came to the banquet according to my father's words. Immediately, they met Brother Toner and approached him. They congratulated me for reaching 5 stars in swordsmanship, and I asked them if their training in slashing lightweight stones was successful. After getting their affirmative answer, I didn't want to chat with them anymore, and told them to just say a few words and leave. Do you understand what I mean? At this time, people kept coming to talk to me. I know how to socialize, and I am happy to have a good relationship with those who are on good terms with the family. While I was chatting happily with them, a big hand from behind suddenly pressed hard on my head and said loudly that he was very curious. What kind of brat is he that reaches sword level at only 15 years old? It's a 5-star person, and his name is Wu Gay. If not at the banquet, this man's hand ceased to belong to him within 3 seconds. I said hello to him gracefully, but he said out of proportion that I didn't look good on him. Even if he is a member of the Lunchade family, he is still considered my senior, so I don't have to save face for him. So I said to him disdainfully, "Yuge of the Tuge family, listen to me. Every word you just said is an insult to me and the people who respect me. If you like to rank based on seniority, anyone who speaks to me now is your senior. You might as well take a look at your senior's attitude towards me. Apologize to your seniors immediately, otherwise your life will be taken." This man's compatriots hurriedly patted him on the shoulder. They asked him to apologize quickly. "The young master has spared your life." Yuge, who knew he was rude, hurriedly did so, and then specifically asked me if I could forgive him, and I said of course I could. Back off. At this moment, a voice came. "Jean, you are really good at making enemies." The owner of the voice was my sister Luna, the 9-star god of war. She allows me to be cute once in a while. I smiled, clinked glasses of champagne with my sister, and told her that today I represented Lunchade. My sister asked what if Ugg had applied for a duel just now? After all, he is a 6-star warrior, and I said that if I really want to do this, then I can only let him be the stepping stone for my banquet. My sister looked at me deeply after hearing this, and she felt sure. I am gifted and smart, that's why someone wants to harm his youngest brother. Which of the younger siblings discovered Jean's ability in advance? Then my sister told me that she was going somewhere else now. After all, this was a banquet held for me. She didn't like this place, and let me grow up quickly and dance with her. I'm not tall enough now, otherwise I would be very uncoordinated. Before my sister left, then she suddenly said that she had forgotten something, and she wanted to remind these people. Then my sister took my head and put me on his shoulder, and tell me so. Everyone will understand that you are my most beloved brother. Some people will not dare to offend because they are afraid of me. As expected, this scene made everyone who saw it instantly confused. Is it really the 9-star killing god Luna? It seems the rumors are good, he loves his brother very much, but one of the figures was trembling non-stop and biting his collar obscenely, expressing that he also wanted to cuddle up with Lady Luna. I also want to write a poem for Luna myself today. Jinjero's deputy captain Bishukai asked him to be quiet. This person was the transformed warlock Bubar. Unexpectedly, this person turned out to be Luna's little fan, but Bishukai's sister expressed support. After all, it was Bubal who pushed him to come here. Only then can we see such a party of enemies. At this time, after I had socialized with many people who came to get close to me, I lamented that such an occasion was really too tiring. Just when I wanted to find the Jeepur family, there was a loud bang. The sound came, and a woman with an evil smile on her face asked me, "Can I have a drink with the star of Lunkai's family?" I recognized her, but I still deliberately asked who she was. I saw her telling me in a weird way, She is Silas Andolma from the Secret Palace. It is an honor to meet you, the young master of Jean Renkai. When the bright stars of the two families met at the banquet, what kind of happy enemies will they become? As the youngest daughter of the Secret Palace, Silas said she was very happy to get to know me. At this time, I slowly poured her a glass of champagne. Tell her that it is an honor for me to get to know the daughter of the princess of the Secret Palace. So she followed up with a wave of compliments from both families. But in conversation, I noticed that she seemed to have recognized me, but why didn't she mention the horse? It's Mitt's business. After all, I just had a little dust on my face at that time, so there's no way he wouldn't recognize me. Just at this moment, Silas Andolma expressed that she had a question to ask me. His eyes gradually turned cold. Master Jean, is the injury on your leg healed? I was shocked at first when I heard this, and then I said that I was fine now, thanks to some big shot, who had nothing to repay for personally applying the medicine on me. He can get better so quickly. And Silas Andolma asked me to explain why she showed up at Mamet's Moonlight Well Hotel in the first place. Since he never found the way to use magic to destroy the hotel, he guessed that the boy he let go might be the culprit. I smiled after hearing this. It was appropriate for me to be locked up by a magic person. He said that even if the people of the Lunkade family cannot use magic, but the possibility of hiring a magician is not ruled out. What's more, among the people in the hotel at that time, the only ones worthy of Lenkade's action were members of the Secret Palace. So as the captain of the 7 swordsmen of the Secret Palace, he must ask me for an explanation. After hearing this, I realized that he thought my target was a member of the Secret Palace. I have no idea that my real target is the good-for-nothing Akka. Seeing me motionless there, thinking I was pretending to be stupid, instead of being angry, he smiled and even wanted to be rude to me. Then he pointed his finger at me. Jean Renkade, I'm going to drag you to the duel. First I will defeat you, then I will spit in your hateful face. Come and fight me, the youngest son of a famous swordsman. He is full of fighting spirit. I poured cold water on him and told him that my father would not let me fight against anyone weaker than me. But I still approached him a little flirtatiously. If he really wants it, I can give it to him. Then I took him to the family duel field and asked my subordinates to get us 2 good swords. But before starting the duel, I considered that he is the daughter of the Secret Palace princess after all, and now he is surrounded by spectators. If I beat him in front of everyone, then it will definitely hurt his self-esteem. Kijin Lisi stopped me at this time and wanted to make an agreement with me. If he wins, then what happened in Mamet that day must be told to him in detail. I said no problem. But if I win, then he must pretend that he didn't see me that day. After saying that, the duel between me and him began. But when my sword clashes with his, it was actually frozen. This is the unique skill of the Andolma family lineage, the 10,000 ice sword. I smiled at him, but I didn't expect him to use secret skills as soon as he came up. I asked him, is he embarrassing my youngest son who has not yet learned the family's secret skills? With the showdown between us, Woya Genjen Lingjala Andorma Jadzul the Jishua Hunyuan Hanbing. This swordsmanship seems to make people's souls tremble. But he found that I could neutralize every sword move he made. He thought to himself that he was worthy of being Jean Renkide, who had 5-star swordsmanship at only 15 years old. But even so what? Just issuing the 3rd form of 10,000 weapon sword is enough to make up for the gap between Yixin and him. I don't know what he is thinking at this time. Although he can use the 10,000 weapons sword, his overall strength is crushed by me. But how powerful is the secret skill of this 10,000 weapons sword? Unknown. Therefore, I have to use my secret skills to fight back and not be careless. When I was a child in Stormwind City, I read countless secret books. He even learned the most powerful secret technique among them. Unexpectedly, the first time it was used was in the family's duel field. I saw Qianlisi smiling evilly. Tell me it's over. Then a strong ice and snowstorm swept around me. This was the 3rd form of 10,000 armed sword avalanche. I hurriedly resisted the sharp ice crystals. My clothes and cheeks were scratched, and Silas stood in the ice and snowstorm like a controller with a winning chance. But what he didn't expect was that I actually grinned during his killing game. He didn't understand why the young man in front of him was like this. This is his most powerful secret skill. Even a genius with 5 stars in swordsmanship will still be defeated by the secret skill of the Secret Palace. Just when he felt uneasy, my sword has reached his face. Silas hurriedly jumped out of the way, but he didn't expect that the sword wrapped in righteousness would explode. Seeing this, I yelled, "No, Silas Andolma, get out of the way." When the youngest son of the Runkade family defeated the youngest daughter of the Secret Palace, what kind of stir will it cause? Just now, I learned the secret skill of the Andolma family, Hunyuan Ice. Andolma has cultivated 10,000 weapon sword to the ultimate level at such a young age. If I hadn't also possessed the secret skill, I would have lost this battle. But I didn't expect that the sword I thrust out with righteousness would... It was about to explode around him. I hurriedly asked him to dodge, but it was too late. For an instant, terrifying energy fluctuations covered the center where he was. I also deeply regret that I should not have chosen to use Attila's family's secret skill, Swordstorm. This power cannot be blocked by 4-star Silas. I quickly pushed through the smoke to find his whereabouts. If he didn't avoid it, he would die or be disabled. Fortunately, Silas was fine. But at this time, as Selly, the beloved daughter of the Secret Palace, Andolma's self-esteem was frustrated. He hated himself for choosing to avoid it, because he was afraid of death and injury. After all, he is the captain of the 7 swordsmen of the secret palace. I quickly stepped forward to support him and asked if everything was okay. Fortunately, I avoided it. Otherwise something big would have happened. I apologized to Chilas, but after hearing my warning, he still wanted to take on Bladestorm. No matter how strong his self-esteem is, he's just a 15-year-old kid. Avoidance is a survival instinct that he cannot suppress now. I comforted him. If it were me, I would also run away from this situation, and he would also remind me. At this time, I knew in my heart that saying this would not comfort him. I saw Chelis taking something out of his clothes, and after slowly opening it, it turned out to be a box, ointment, and told me my face hurt. Then, just like that day, he applied the ointment to my wound and said to me gently, "Jean, this is to repay your kindness for sparing my life." And I felt the coolness of the ointment at this time, and asked him if the life of the heir to the secret palace is just for this benefit. Qianlisi gently stroked the dust off her body, tell me that he will still be the arrogant Qianlisi, and let me not worry, and today is our first meeting. After saying that, he turned around and left. Watching his leaving figure, I felt a trace of reluctance in my heart. Wait until the next day. There were obviously fewer people at the banquet, and I understood that this meant that the enemy party was about to begin. At this time everyone will go to watch the duel. I decided to take advantage. There are fewer people following me now. Go meet the Jeeper family. This time we come to the Jeeper people of the Luncade family. They are all between 15 and 20, so they can compare their magical abilities with those of similar age. Things about the ruins of Cologne, I decided not to mention it to them first, as it would be easy to alert others. After becoming a quasi-pioneer, you will have plenty of time to move freely. Then investigate with Ulakai. With his help, it will be much easier to find the magic spring. There will be no mass production of magician by Jeep in the future. The new me must prevent this terrible thing from happening. At this moment, a voice came. At the Lunshade family's banquet, why is there a little black cat? Following the sound, it was Qianlisi and Dolma. Ulakai was acting cute in his arms. When he opened Ulakai's name tag, discovering that the cat actually meowed Renkade too much made Chelis burst into laughter. Who gave him such a name? Could it be Master Jean? While Chelis and I were discussing the cat's name, another voice came shouting, "Just follow that cat. Gotta find you, Jean Runkled. I really don't know how much effort I put into finding you. This man is none other than Balatin Giepur, the future heir of the Giepur family. What kind of sparks will arise when the youngest son of the Runkled family and the future heir of the Gimple family meet at a banquet? Since the last time I saw him, or when I just left Stormwind City, at this time he couldn't wait. Zai wanted me to remember him, but I said I was just pretending not to remember him, just because I don't want him to get close to me. I pushed his hand away from me and told him not to bother me. But he wasn't angry at all. I looked at this stupid Belladine in front of me, and I really couldn't believe that he could become a 9-star magician at the age of 30, and finally became the next head of the Jeepor family. At this time, he told me that he had gone to great lengths to find me because magic could not be used in the Lunshade house. Otherwise, he would have found me long ago. He said he was happy to see me again and congratulated me on my ability to reach 5 stars so quickly. But after he praised me, he also didn't forget to praise himself. He has not been idle these years, and his magic level has reached 6 stars. What he said made me feel incredible. Watching him show off in front of me, saying that my current magic level is 1 level higher than my swordsmanship, I thought to myself, Belladin, the most talented person in the Giepur family, at the age of 18, does magic only have 6 stars? By the time I turn 18, magic should be able to reach the 7 stars. Could it be that Belladin deliberately concealed his strength? But looking at his triumphant look, it didn't look like he was hiding. So if he is 18 years old and only has 6-star strength, then after their family master, the person who stands at the pinnacle of magic must be me. Belladin's strength confirmed my own potential. Looking at Bellatin, who was still chattering, I reminded him that silence is golden. Then I asked him about his family. Send an official letter of visit. Why come to Luncade for the banquet? From his mouth, I learned that all this happened because he strongly requested his uncle Andre to come here, just to see me. I didn't expect that just for this reason, the Jeepor family would agree and step into the enemy's territory. It can be seen that the family dotes on him, but he understood that my father had shown mercy to his uncle. Then he leaned on my shoulder. He said that if I came to the Jeepor family's banquet without saying hello in the future, he would not hurt me. He even said that even if I launched an attack, it won't kill me either. If a fight breaks out, he won't join it. After I heard that, I thought he seemed a little stupid and looked at me to leave. He asked me where I was going. I told him that there was a fan just now. This guy has been peeking at me. This guy is none other than the transformation warlock Bubar. I stopped him, who was hiding in the corner, and he asked me what was going on, and also asked when my sister Luna would come out. I was very confused. Why did he ask my sister? I saw him timidly taking out a love letter from his arms and asking me to give it to my eldest sister Luna. He also told me that this was a love poem he wrote all night long, and it contained his deep love. Lady Luna will definitely understand after seeing it. He even boasted that he might be able to call me brother-in-law in the future. Even Balatin couldn't help but spit out the wine he just drank after hearing this. And I clenched my fists, and then tore this disgusting love poem into pieces in front of his face. I was so ambitious. Not only did he talk about my sister's name casually, but he also thought about some kind of brother-in-law and didn't take Lunkade seriously at all. I called the family's guardian knight. Let them take this guy to the duel. While struggling, he shouted that he had the right to love. How could he be considered a guest? Is this the way Lunkade treats guests? Soon the guardian knight threw him into the duel. I also took off my coat. I want to fight with him in a bare-handed duel and teach this scoundrel a lesson. Only the truly bloody Lunkade people will severely punish enemies who make rude remarks. As the youngest son of a famous swordsman family, I will never tolerate the use of dirty words to slander my sister, so I dragged him. When we get to the duel field, we must teach this guy a lesson. At this time Booble was thinking, did Master Jean find out that he was the one who made the followers of the Gimple family transform into assassins 5 years ago? But think about it carefully. Probably not. But why did Master Jean do this to himself? At this moment, Jinjiro's deputy captain Beam Shukai noticed the Bubar brothers and sisters appearing in the duel field. I don't know what the situation was, but why did I start a duel with Master Jean? Then he hurriedly pushed his sister, who was watching the excitement, to check the situation. At the same time, Silas Andolma, who was holding Ulakai, also looked confused. Originally, he planned to duel with Jean a few more times before the banquet was over. But now Jean actually picked a sloppy one. Just when the fat man was irritated by Liz, he happened to encounter Bellatin, who came up to talk to her. I just introduced myself and said that I was very happy to meet the heir to the secret palace. Unexpectedly, Liz told him to go away directly. At this moment, the referee's voice echoed throughout the duel field. Next up is the duel between the protagonist of this banquet, Master Jean, the rising star of the Lunkade family. Everyone's eyes were on the duel field. Looking at Master Jean's opponent, no one knew the person in front of them. Is he some kind of hermit master? At this time, Booble said that before the battle started, let me give him a chance to introduce himself, but I did not give him the chance. I punched him right in the face because I didn't want to know the name of a guy like him. At this time, Booble was also angry and focused his righteousness to hit me. From his righteousness, I can see that his strength is about 6 stars. Only then did Kianlis realize that the fat man in front of her was more powerful than Jean. He is also very good at fighting skills. It would be embarrassing if you lose. At this time, I took a solid punch from Booble. He was so proud that he shouted loudly, "How dare you duel with him with this little strength?" He was about to strike me again, but I stopped holding back. A hard punch hit him in the face again, then all the fists like a violent storm hit him. That's all. I defeated Booble, who was now beyond recognition. Just as Kianlisi and Bellet were shouting for my victory, a voice came. Brother Bixukai, I can't understand Master Jean's behavior. Looking out, it was Bixukai's sister who was sitting in a wheelchair. He didn't understand why John still ravaged the weak Booble so cruelly even though the winner had already been decided. Bixukai explained, that guy is better than Jean. But the younger sister didn't listen at all. She also expressed that she was very disappointed in her brother, and hoped that he could teach Master Jean a lesson. The people on the side also started making noises after hearing this, asking him to promise his sister. Bixukai had no choice but to agree to this request as a doting lover. So he walked up to me who was still beating Booble, asked me to let Booble go, and then competed with him. I accepted his challenge. After all, Bixukai is one. The Knight of 7 Stars dueled with him. Regardless of winning or losing, I can gain something from the battle. What's more, experiencing the swordsmanship of the Ifliano family, it is also a good opportunity to learn in itself, because the previous head of their family was a strong man that even my father recognized. Subsequently, I set my sights on his sister. This wealthy lady did not hesitate to embarrass her brother in order to watch the battle. I understand Bixukai's mood very well, because I also have a sister. I asked him to keep his scary mouth in check from now on, but he explained to me that this person was just someone traveling with him. I just helped take care of my sister, who has limited mobility. Did Bubar Kastan say something wrong? When I heard the name, I was stunned for a moment. Listen, Bishokai told me to be more generous. After all, Bubar had no ill intentions, but I was thinking about the famous transformation magician Booble. What is the relationship between Bishukai and him? When Bubar was arrested in the previous life, there was no news that he was involved with the Ifliano family. I held the sword of Hades tightly. I didn't expect that when I found Booble I would have so many questions. I decided not to think about this yet. The opponent in front of me now is a 7-star knight. This youngest son, who is regarded as a broom star by his family, actually mastered the art of Star Sword in just 2 minutes. He also accepted the challenge from Bishukai, the deputy leader of 7-star King Jero. But the moment I fought with him, I understood that Bishukai's strength was far beyond 7 stars. He is a master of swordsmanship and can even compete with my Uncle Jed. Moreover, his sword moves are so weird and unpredictable that I cannot see through them with my current strength. People outside the field watched the duel between me and him and couldn't help but sigh. I didn't expect Master Jean to be at a disadvantage so quickly. After all, the Ifoliano family's swordsmanship is famous for its cunning and changeable swordsmanship, so it is remarkable that it has lasted for so long. Hearing everyone's discussion, Bellatin laughed. These people know how to use a hammer. The people of the Lunkide family are strong when they encounter strength. If the swordsmanship of the Bixiyukai family is like that of cunning snakes, The swordsmanship of the Nalankade family is that of a running rhinoceros. Even if its feet are broken, the rhinoceros will not stop hitting. I just escaped from Bishukai's cunning attack. I understand that the man in front of me is not using his full strength, but it is true that I used my 5-star strength to fight against him who is 7-star or above. And the fight was back and forth. Although I was almost at my limit, I was already beginning to feel the same way I did that day when I faced off against Khan. I condensed all the righteous energy in my body on the sword. Li Shukai saw it and told me that this battle was good, but it was time to end. After saying that, he flew towards me again and killed me. And I closed my eyes at this time, carefully feeling the trembling of the sword and righteousness. The moment Li Shukai and my sword collide, the diameter of my sword shattered into pieces, and then his sword was pressed against my neck. Everything happens in a flash of lightning. Even if it doesn't hit me, it's majestic. The sharp sword energy shocked me so much that I lost consciousness and fell down staggeringly. Bishukai only felt a twinge of pain in his neck. When he touched it, he found that I had stabbed a wound at some point. Just when Bishukai was still palpitating, the referee's voice came. The winner of this battle is Bixuke Ivliano. He looked at me lying unconscious on the ground, wondering what trick I used in the end. The moment the sword shattered, I felt that my chin was pierced by something sharp. Could it be that he understood the heart sword in the moment of the duel? If Jean had reacted any faster and he had been slower, the consequences would have been disastrous. Then it must be you who fails. Jean runkled you. What a terrible guy. When I woke up again, Ulakai was riding on my head. I found myself lying in my room at this time. Unexpectedly, B. Shukai and I fainted after the duel. Nurse Geely brought me a drink and told me that I had been sleeping for 2 days. I sighed. The party was over now. After all the guests at this banquet came because of me, but I failed to say hello to them properly. It's unbecoming. Geely told me not to think so, because everyone is talking about the showdown between Jean and B. Shukai in the past 2 days. That wonderful duel is the best memory for everyone. All this is thanks to the final cast of the Star Sword. B. Shukai's strength is 8 stars. Master Jean was actually close. He turned defeat into victory and became the first person of the truly young generation. At this time, I thought that all this must be attributed to my eldest sister Luna, who taught me. Although my Star Sword is not perfect yet, it does help me. At first I couldn't understand the significance of this kind of training, and my sister wouldn't let me open my eyes. I never thought I would benefit from this. The younger brother listens with his ears and cuts with his heart. Although he unconsciously cast the Star Sword in a dangerous situation, however, being able to roughly understand the 8-star realm is already very powerful, so there is no need to rush it. This banquet also brought me a lot of gains. The family status of Belatin Jipur was confirmed, and he also had some friendship with the heir of the secret palace, and also learned that Bixukai and Bubar had contacts. As a result, the mastermind behind the transformation case that left Stormwind City to assassinate me has several more suspects, and they still need to be investigated slowly. At this moment, Geely brought a pot of flowers and told me that this was what Silas had left for me. Does she like Master Jean? I told Geely that this is the secret palace of snowflakes, and the language is an endless battle. Although this is the first time I received flowers from a girl, but Sirris's intention should be that she wants to fight me again. Only the Lunkade family, who have truly accomplished countless feats, are worthy of being buried in the temple in the Courtyard of Swords after their death. And the first-generation head of my family, Timar Lenkide, led the family out of countless crises, and even turned the tide to protect the family in the War of the Gods. But he was not buried in the temple after his death, and even his tomb was not in the Courtyard of Swords. After I woke up from the duel with B. Shukai, my father summoned me alone in the temple. I knew that he was going to grant me the position of quasi-pioneer, and I was about to leave the family for a while. When I came to the temple and saw my father's tall back, I couldn't help but sigh. After being reborn, I don't know why the person who is easiest to see through is my father. He turned to look at me. It had been a long time since a child had come to see him in such casual clothes. Jean, you're here. Then he told me about the spiritual temple and the story of the first-generation head of the family. And because the first-generation head of the family had the same dark power as me, that's why Lunkade's descendants cannot remember him. After the death of the first-generation head of the family, he signed a humiliating covenant with the Jipur family. From then on, no one in the Renkide family could use magic anymore, nor could they remember their ancestors who once used magic. And after signing the covenant, the gods of the Gipur family worked together to curse the bloodline of the Renkide family, so all Renkide people born after the first generation of the family can no longer use magic. After my father finished speaking, he asked me if I still remember defeating the Torner brothers with shadow energy in Stormwind City when I was a kid. At that time, my father didn't ask me how I got it. I said of course I remembered, and I also lied about letting the shadow energy be used by the family. My father interrupted me. Fortunately, I was still young at that time. If you dare to tell him such a lie now, you will never be spared easily. My father asked me if I had heard Sordray's voice. Although I have never heard it again in this life, I still told my father that the adult called me a contractor. And my father felt that this was very unfair to my brothers and sisters. Ask me if I can use this power to defeat my brothers and sisters and swallow up the entire family. I have no interest in any of this, I told him. If you don't find anything more delicious than Lunkai's family while wandering around outside, then come back and do what he said. When my father heard my answer, instead of anger, smile. Other children left the courtyard of Swords in order to gain recognition from their families, but Jean actually wanted to find something outside of his family. I really don't know whether to call Jean awesome or arrogant. Then the father waved his hand. He said that he would give me 5 years, during which I would be recognized by my family, or recognize the family and come back to give him an answer, you hear me? Jean Rencade. I unhurriedly pulled out the sword of Hades from my waist. Then he placed the sword in front of me. This is the tallest sword in the Luncade family. At this time, my eyes were extremely determined. My father, thank you for your recent care, see you in 5 years. 3 days later I packed my bags and prepared to leave the family. Gili took Ulakai and wanted to go with me. He told me that he brought something that restricted the use of righteousness, just so that he could accompany the young master to practice, because he was afraid that others would gossip. Jean relied on the power of wet nurses to accumulate reputation, so he did this. I looked at him with great distress. He who has always taken care of me. I secretly made up my mind that I would protect him not only during the 5 years of experience, but also for the rest of my life. Before setting off, I turned back again and looked deeply at the family door. In my previous life, I left here because I was kicked out of my family because I didn't see any talent. In this life, as a talented boy who became a 5-star knight at the age of 15, going out to practice as a quasi-pioneer, I feel like I am truly reborn now. Then set off now and see the unknown world outside. Although there are many crises, how can this stop us? How can you hold me down, Jalen?